This video was made thanks to this awesome request. Thank you for the title suggestion, and happy watching.
Before we dive into the video, let's first get to know this ultimate video game Quirk concept. In this wild scenario, Izuku Midoriya isn't just given a standard physical power. His Quirk manifests as a literal multiversal game engine. This grants him instant access to the entire library of video game history, allowing him to summon any gaming icon to fight alongside him, use infinite inventory systems, and tap into every skill, magic spell, and ability ever created in gaming. From the god-slaying strength of Kratos and the blistering speed of Sonic to reality-warping sandbox codes and invincibility cheats, Deku becomes an unstoppable, walking arcade, completely shattering the rules of the My Hero Academia universe.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Quirkless. If you're a fan of My Hero Academia, especially awesome fanfiction stories all about Deku, you're definitely in the right place. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow anime fans, and subscribe so you never miss a new upload. Also, if you have an awesome idea or title for the next fanfiction video, drop it in the comment below. I'd love to read your suggestions. And hey, if you want to support the channel even more and keep me extra motivated to create awesome content, consider joining our channel membership. By becoming a member, you'll unlock cool perks like exclusive loyalty badges and custom stickers you can use in the comments. If you've already joined, thank you so much. Your support truly means the world to me and helps keep this channel going. Alright, let's get right into the story.
Izuku Midoriya sat alone on the rooftop of Aldera Middle School. The wind moved through his messy green hair as he stared at the city below. Another day had passed. Another day without a quirk. His notebook rested beside him, its pages filled with drawings and observations about heroes. He had spent years studying them, their fighting styles, their rescue techniques, their weaknesses, their strengths. But every time someone asked what kind of quirk he had, the answer remained the same. None. Izuku lowered his head. Maybe I really can't become a hero. The words barely left his mouth. Then something strange happened. A small blue square appeared in front of his eyes. Izuku blinked. The square remained. He waved his hand through it. Nothing happened. What? Another window appeared. Then another. And another. Within seconds, dozens of transparent blue windows surrounded him. Izuku stood up. What is this? One window displayed a strange message. Initializing. Another appeared. User detected. Then the final message appeared directly in front of his face. Ultimate video game quirk activated. Izuku froze. Quirk. His heart started pounding. He touched the floating interface. The moment his finger made contact, the entire screen changed. A massive library appeared. There were thousands of categories. Action, RPG, fighting, strategy, racing, horror, adventure, simulation, sandbox, gacha, MMO, and countless others. Izuku stared. There are so many. He selected the character section. The screen expanded. Characters appeared one after another. Heroes, villains, warriors, mages, soldiers, monsters, robots, creatures, even characters whose bodies shouldn't have been able to exist according to normal biology. Izuku's eyes widened. This can't be real. Another notification appeared. Ability archive unlocked. Character abilities. Accessible. Weapons. Accessible. Items. Accessible. Skills. Accessible. Magic systems. Accessible. Passive abilities. Accessible. Character summoning. Accessible. Izuku's mouth opened. All of them. He touched another button. Synchronization complete. Suddenly, energy surged through his body. Izuku dropped to one knee. His vision flashed. For a moment, he saw hundreds of different worlds. A plumber jumping across floating platforms. A blue speedster racing through a green landscape. A warrior wielding enormous blades. A demon hunter drawing a sword. A soldier standing inside futuristic armor. A blocky figure holding tools. Mages casting spells. Knights riding into battle. Spaceships crossing galaxies. Armies marching across enormous battlefields. Then everything disappeared. Izuku remained on the rooftop. His breathing was heavy. He slowly stood. What just happened? A small notification appeared. Passive abilities synchronized. Physical abilities synchronized. Combat abilities synchronized. Inventory access synchronized. Resurrection functions synchronized. Izuku stared at the last line. Resurrection. He almost laughed. This had to be some kind of hallucination. He looked around. The rooftop was empty. Okay. He raised his right hand. Test. A small object appeared above his palm. A glowing coin. It dropped into his hand. Izuku stared. I summoned an item. He tried again. This time, a simple wooden sword appeared. He nearly dropped it. This is real. His hands began trembling. He opened another menu. Summon character. Izuku hesitated. Should I? He selected the option. A circle of blue light appeared on the rooftop. A figure began forming inside it. Izuku immediately stepped backward. The figure fully materialized. It was a warrior from a game Izuku recognized. The warrior looked around. Where am I? Izuku stared. You're real. The warrior looked at him. Apparently, Izuku's brain nearly stopped working. He opened another menu. The library stretched farther than he could see. There were millions of entries. Characters, bosses, companions, units, summons, and every ability belonging to them was listed under his own name. Izuku swallowed. So I don't just summon them. He selected one ability. The interface displayed its description. Ability available. Activation requires no external equipment. Izuku's eyes widened. I can use their powers myself. He raised his hand. Blue energy gathered around his fingers. Then red sparks appeared. Then green lightning. Then several magical symbols. Izuku quickly cancelled the ability. The energy vanished. That's dangerous. He looked at the city again. A minute ago, he had believed his dream was impossible. Now he had no idea what was possible anymore. The rooftop door suddenly opened. A teacher stepped outside. Midoriya, what are you doing up here? Izuku immediately turned. The blue interface disappeared from the teacher's view. I'm sorry. I was just. The teacher looked at him. You should be heading home. Yes, sir. The teacher walked away. Izuku waited until the door closed. Then he looked at his hands. The interface returned. Tutorial available. Izuku selected it. Welcome, player. Your quirk grants access to the collective abilities of video game characters. Learn carefully. Reality has no built-in protection against your inventory. Izuku stared at that final sentence. Reality has no protection. He slowly smiled. For the first time in years, his eyes weren't filled with resignation. They were filled with excitement. That night, Izuku locked himself inside his room. His notebooks were scattered across the desk. He had already filled several new pages. Possible quirk classification. Unknown. Ability source. Unknown. Number of accessible characters. Seemingly unlimited. Summoning limitations. None discovered. Physical enhancement. Confirmed. Inventory system. Confirmed. Respawn function. Confirmed. He stopped writing. This is ridiculous. He stared at the interface. There has to be a limit. The system responded. No limit detected. Izuku's pen slipped from his fingers. No limit. Another window appeared. Available character archive. Complete. Izuku leaned back. He looked at the countless icons filling his room. For years, he had dreamed about becoming a hero despite having no quirk. Now he possessed something that could potentially challenge every hero in the world. But he still didn't understand it. So he did what he always did. He reached for his notebook. First rule. He began writing. Don't use anything dangerous until I understand it. The system displayed another message. Rule accepted. Izuku blinked. You can respond to me. Yes. Great. He stared at the endless library. Then let's start. The screen expanded. Thousands of abilities appeared. Izuku's eyes sparkled. Outside his window, Musudafu remained peaceful. Inside his room, the boy who had once believed he had nothing was beginning to discover that his quirk contained an entire multiverse. And he had only just opened the menu. The next morning, Izuku arrived at the U.A. entrance examination site with his notebook pressed tightly against his chest. He had barely slept. The game interface had remained active throughout the night, and every time he discovered another category, another 100 questions appeared in his mind. How many characters could he summon? Could summoned characters be injured? Could he use their abilities without summoning them? Could he create items? Could he access game mechanics such as checkpoints, inventory systems, or respawning? He still had no answers. But today wasn't the day to experiment recklessly. Today was the entrance exam. Izuku looked at the enormous U.A. gates. I'm going to do this normally. The blue interface appeared. Objective. Pass the entrance examination. Izuku blinked. You have objectives too. Yes. He sighed. Of course you do. The moment the gates opened, the examinees rushed forward. Izuku followed them. Robots immediately appeared throughout the mock city. One rushed toward him. Izuku jumped aside. Boom. The machine's fist smashed into the pavement. Izuku rolled away. Okay. No panic. His eyes flicked toward the interface. Available abilities. He quickly searched for movement abilities. Dozens appeared. Super speed. Dash. Double jump. Air step. Wall running. Flight. Teleportation. Izuku selected double jump. He jumped. Then jumped again in midair. His eyes widened. That works. He landed on the roof of a nearby building. Another robot spotted him. Izuku immediately switched abilities. High-speed movement enabled. The world suddenly seemed slower. His body accelerated. He sprinted across the street, jumped over a robot, and landed behind it. 1. He punched the machine. Crack. The robot's head flew off. Izuku stared at his fist. I didn't even use one for all. He quickly opened the interface. Combat ability available. Strength enhancement available. Weapon archive available. Izuku grinned nervously. This is going to be difficult to control. A group of examinees suddenly ran past him. Move. Izuku looked behind them. 3 robots were chasing them. He raised his hand. Wait. The interface appeared. He searched for something useful. Then he found it. Minecraft. Block placement. Izuku selected it. A wooden wall suddenly appeared between the examinees and the robots. Crash. The first robot slammed into it. The second followed. The wall shook but remained standing. The examinees stared. What the heck? Izuku scratched his cheek. A defensive construction. They didn't have time to question him. Thanks. They ran away. Izuku smiled. Good. He turned toward the robots. The wooden wall was already breaking. Izuku switched abilities again. Projectile weapon selected. A glowing energy weapon appeared in his hand. He fired. Boom. The 3 robots collapsed. Izuku stared at the weapon. Okay. Definitely not normal. Farther ahead, another examinee was trapped beneath fallen debris. Izuku immediately ran toward her. Are you okay? My leg is stuck. Izuku looked at the rubble. Normally, it would have taken several people to move it. He opened his inventory. Strength enhancement. He selected it. His muscles tightened. Izuku grabbed the debris. NGH. He lifted it. The examinee pulled herself free. Thank you. Are you hurt? Just a little. Izuku nodded. Then stay somewhere safe. He turned away. His interface displayed another notification. Rescue points detected. Izuku froze. Rescue points. The system responded. Successful civilian assistance detected. Bonus points awarded. Izuku smiled. So it's not only about defeating robots. That made sense. Was testing whether applicants could act like heroes. Then the ground began shaking. Izuku looked up. His expression changed. A massive shadow passed over the buildings. The zero-pointer emerged. Students screamed and scattered. Run! The giant robot raised its foot. Izuku saw several examinees trapped in the street. He opened his interface. He searched through abilities. Flight, teleportation, time manipulation, barrier creation, reality alteration. There were too many choices. He selected flight. Green energy surrounded his body. Izuku shot upward. Whoa! He flew toward the trapped students. Get out of the way! He grabbed one student and carried her upward. Another was frozen in fear. Izuku flew back. Come on! He grabbed her too. The zero-pointer's foot came down. Boom! Dust exploded across the street. Izuku flew through the smoke. His danger detection ability suddenly activated. Threat detected. He looked back. The giant robot's arm was coming toward him. Not good. Izuku searched for a defensive ability. He selected a shield. A glowing barrier appeared. Crash. The impact sent him flying backward. He spun through the air. That hurt. The barrier shattered. Izuku looked down. The zero-pointer was still standing. His eyes narrowed. All right. He opened the character archive. This time, he didn't choose an ability. He selected a character. Summon confirmed. A blue portal opened beside him. A powerful warrior stepped through. Izuku immediately changed his mind. Actually, never mind. The character vanished. I can't just summon random people in the middle of an exam. He closed the menu. Then looked at the zero-pointer. I'll do this myself. Izuku switched through several abilities. Enhanced strength, high-speed movement, air dash, energy resistance, combat prediction. Then he selected one final skill. Charged strike. Energy gathered around his fist. The interface displayed a warning. Recommended output. Low. Izuku stared. Low. He increased it slightly. Output adjusted. He flew upward. The zero-pointer looked almost tiny beneath him. Izuku pulled his fist back. Here goes. He accelerated downward. Boom. His fist struck the robot's head. The entire machine collapsed. The street shook. Dust rose into the air. Izuku landed in the middle of the crater. Silence followed. Then the interface appeared. Zero-pointer defeated. Examination complete. Izuku looked around. Dozens of examinees were staring at him. He slowly lowered his fist. I may have overdone that. Inside the examination control room, several teachers were staring at the monitors. One of them looked at the scoring system. What exactly did he just do? Another teacher shook his head. I don't know. Aizawa watched the footage carefully. The boy had displayed multiple abilities within minutes. Strength enhancement, flight, barriers, construction, weapon generation, and several unknown techniques. That's not one quirk, Aizawa muttered. All Might stood behind him. His eyes remained fixed on the screen. Young Midoriya. The footage showed Izuku helping injured examinees before destroying the zero-pointer. All Might smiled. He's still prioritizing rescue. Izuku walked away from the ruined robot. His interface appeared one final time. Examination score calculated. Combat points. High. Rescue points. High. Special objective completed. Result. Pass. Izuku smiled. He had done it. He had entered U.A. But beneath the result was another message. New feature unlocked. Izuku stopped walking. New feature. The screen expanded. Character summoning limit increased. World library access expanded. Multiplayer synchronization. Available. Izuku's eyes widened. Multiplayer. He stared at the interface. Then slowly smiled. What exactly did I just unlock? The first morning of Class 1A began with chaos. Izuku stood outside the classroom door with his notebook in hand. He could hear voices inside. I heard someone destroyed the 0-pointer. Apparently he got a ridiculous number of rescue points too. Who was it? Izuku slowly opened the door. Everyone looked toward him. A few students immediately recognized him from the entrance examination. That's him. The guy who flew over the 0-pointer. Izuku froze. He walked toward an empty seat. Before he could sit down, a loud voice came from across the room. Oi! Deku! Izuku looked up. Katsuki Bakugo was staring at him. His expression was irritated. What the hell was that during the exam? Izuku blinked. What do you mean? You suddenly started flying around and smashing robots. I was trying to pass. Bakugo's eye twitched. Don't act stupid. Izuku lowered his gaze. The interface appeared in the corner of his vision. Hostile interaction detected. Recommended response. Ignore. Izuku closed it. I don't want to fight. TCH. Bakugo turned away. The classroom door opened. Shota Aizawa walked inside wearing his capture weapon around his neck. Sit down. Everyone became quiet. Aizawa placed a pile of gym uniforms on the desk. We're doing a quirk apprehension test. Several students looked surprised. But we just got here. You. Doesn't have time to waste. Aizawa looked around the classroom. Especially not for students who don't understand their own abilities. His eyes stopped on Izuku. Izuku immediately understood. He's testing me. The class moved outside. The first test was the 50-meter dash. Izuku stepped onto the starting line. Aizawa watched him carefully. Midoriya. Yes. No equipment. Izuku nodded. Understood. The signal sounded. Izuku activated enhanced movement. Whoosh. He crossed the finish line almost instantly. The timer displayed an absurd number. Everyone stared. That's impossible. He was faster than Iida. Iida adjusted his glasses. His acceleration was remarkable. Izuku scratched his head. I can reduce it. Aizawa narrowed his eyes. Reduce it. Yes. Do that. Izuku nodded. The next test was the standing long jump. Izuku crouched. He activated a controlled double jump. He jumped forward, then activated another movement ability in midair. He landed far beyond the expected distance. The students stared. He changed direction in the air. How? Izuku wrote something in his notebook. Air control. Aizawa looked at him. You've already tested that. Last night. Aizawa sighed. Of course you did. The ball throw came next. Izuku held the ball. Aizawa spoke. Your score will be measured normally. Izuku nodded. He selected a basic strength enhancement. Nothing else. He threw. Whoosh. The ball disappeared into the distance. The machine beeped. Result. Out of range. The class became silent. Aizawa looked at the machine. Then at Izuku. What ability did you use? Strength enhancement. From your quirk. Yes. What's its limit? Izuku paused. I don't know. Aizawa stared at him. You don't know. There are too many abilities. Aizawa's expression became more serious. Too many. Izuku nodded. I can access abilities from video games. Several students laughed. Video games. That's his quirk. Izuku nodded. Apparently. Aizawa raised his hand. His eyes glowed red. Izuku suddenly felt something change. The interface disappeared. The enhanced strength vanished. His body returned to normal. Izuku looked surprised. You erased it. Correct. Aizawa stared at him. Now throw the ball. Izuku held it. He threw. It traveled a normal distance. The class became quiet again. Aizawa released his quirk. The interface immediately returned. Quirk restored. Izuku looked at Aizawa. So erasure works. Aizawa nodded. Apparently. Izuku smiled. That's useful information. Aizawa frowned. Most students would be worried. Izuku opened his notebook. I'm already recording the result. The next test involved grip strength. Izuku initially considered using a powerful character ability. Then he stopped. No. He selected a basic enhancement. The machine registered a high result. Not absurd. Not impossible. Just impressive. Aizawa noticed. You deliberately reduced your output. Yes. Why? Because I don't know how much damage I could cause. Aizawa remained silent. That answer was better than he expected. During the final test, Izuku stood at the edge of the field. The interface appeared again. New ability detected. Temporal manipulation available. Izuku stared. Temporal manipulation. He immediately closed the menu. Not using that. Aizawa noticed. What happened? Nothing. Midoriya. Izuku looked at him. Yes. Don't hide dangerous abilities from me. Izuku hesitated. Then nodded. Understood. After the tests ended, the students gathered around Izuku. Ochako was the first to approach. Midoriya. That was amazing. Thank you. So you really can use all those different powers? I think so. How many? Izuku looked at the interface. The number continued increasing. I don't know. Tenya approached next. Your quirk appears to possess an extraordinary degree of versatility. That's what I'm trying to understand. Shoto Todoroki watched from a short distance. Can you copy quirks? Izuku shook his head. Not exactly. Then what? They aren't quirks. Todoroki frowned. What are they? Izuku looked at the interface. Game abilities. Suddenly, a small notification appeared. Class members detected. Multiplayer synchronization available. Izuku's eyes widened. Wait. Another window opened. Temporary party system available. Compatible allies detected. Izuku stared at his classmates. The system had identified them as potential party members. He quickly closed the window. That's new. Ochako tilted her head. What is? Nothing. Izuku looked at the interface again. He had thought his quirk was already impossible to understand. Now it seemed to be evolving. Aizawa watched Izuku from across the field. The boy was powerful. Far too powerful. But unlike most students with overwhelming abilities, Izuku wasn't eager to show off. He was documenting everything, testing limitations, reducing his output, and most importantly, he was thinking about consequences. Aizawa pulled his sleeping bag closer. This kid is going to be trouble. All Might, standing nearby, smiled. Perhaps. He looked toward Izuku. But perhaps he's exactly the kind of trouble this school needs. Izuku didn't hear them. He was too busy staring at the newest message in his interface. Tutorial completed. Advanced library unlocked. Reality class abilities available. Izuku's smile disappeared. Reality class. The interface displayed 3 options. Time, space, reality. Izuku stared at them, then quickly closed the menu. I'll study those later. He opened his notebook very carefully. The morning had been unusually quiet. Izuku sat in his seat, writing in his notebook while the interface floated at the edge of his vision. He had spent the previous night studying the newly unlocked abilities. Time manipulation, space manipulation, reality alteration. He had tested none of them. The potential consequences were too large. Instead, he focused on abilities that were easier to understand. Barriers, healing, mobility, weapons, summoning. Careful first, he muttered. Aizawa entered the classroom. Today's lesson will be held at the U.S.J. Several students became excited. Rescue training. Aizawa nodded. You'll be practicing disaster response. Izuku immediately opened his notebook. Multiple disaster scenarios. His eyes brightened. This could be useful. The class arrived at the unmanned space underground facility. The enormous structure contained several disaster zones. Flooded areas, collapsed buildings, fire zones, industrial wreckage. The students gathered around 13, who explained the exercise. Izuku listened carefully. Then he noticed something. The interface flickered. Unknown entities detected. Izuku frowned. Unknown entities. He looked around. Nothing seemed unusual. Then the air suddenly twisted. A black mist appeared in the center of the facility. Aizawa immediately moved forward. Everyone stay back. The mist expanded. Dozens of figures emerged. Villains. The students froze. Villains. Shigaraki stepped out from the portal. Heroes. His hand scratched at his neck. How annoying. Aizawa's expression hardened. Everyone, stay together. The villains suddenly spread throughout the facility. The warp gate expanded. The students were separated. Izuku felt the ground disappear beneath him. Everyone. Blue light surrounded him. Then he vanished. Izuku landed in a flooded zone. Water splashed around his legs. Where is everyone? He looked around. Villains were approaching through the water. His interface appeared. Hostile targets detected. Izuku selected a basic ability. Aquatic movement. His body immediately adjusted. He moved through the water at high speed. One villain swung a weapon. Izuku ducked. Another attacked from behind. He created a barrier. Crack. The weapon bounced off. Izuku looked at the barrier. Good. He opened his inventory. Let's keep this simple. A wooden staff appeared in his hand. He struck the first villain. Then the second. The third attempted to grab him. Izuku activated a short-range teleport. He vanished. The villain stumbled forward. Izuku reappeared behind him. You're done. A controlled strike knocked the villain unconscious. The remaining villains backed away. What the hell is he? Izuku didn't answer. He was already checking the interface. Rescue signal detected. Someone needs help. Izuku opened the map. The interface created a three-dimensional display of the entire facility. Dozens of red dots represented villains. Green dots represented his classmates. Izuku's eyes widened. So I can track everyone. He selected a movement ability. Teleportation available. Let's go. Blue light surrounded him. Izuku appeared in a ruined area where several villains had surrounded students. Tenya was fighting desperately. Ochako was trying to protect herself. Hang on. Izuku appeared between them. The villains stopped. Midoriya. Izuku raised one hand. A large circular barrier appeared. The attacks bounced away. Everyone okay? Tenya nodded. Yes. Ochako looked at the barrier. What is that? Just a defensive skill. Izuku turned toward the villains. His interface opened. He searched for a non-lethal crowd control ability. Sleep effect. Stun effect. Paralysis effect. Izuku selected stun. A pulse of blue energy spread across the area. Thump. The villains dropped one after another. Ochako stared. You just defeated all of them. Izuku looked embarrassed. It was only a stun. Another signal appeared. Emergency detected. Izuku looked at the map. There are more. Tenya stepped forward. We should assist the others. Right. Izuku opened the party interface. Temporary party creation available. He selected Tenya and Ochako. A small symbol appeared beside their names. Party established. Ochako blinked. Did something just appear? Izuku looked at her. You can see it. Yes. Izuku's eyes widened. Interesting. The system had somehow linked his classmates to the interface. Before he could investigate further, a roar echoed across the facility. Roar. The ground shook. Everyone turned toward the sound. Izuku's danger sense activated. Extremely dangerous entity detected. His expression changed. That's not a normal villain. They reached the central plaza. The Nomu stood there. Enormous. Muscular. Covered in dark skin. All Might was already facing it. Izuku stopped. All Might. The symbol of peace turned his head. Young Midoriya. The Nomu suddenly charged. Boom. All Might blocked the attack. The impact shook the entire plaza. Izuku's interface immediately scanned the creature. Analysis complete. Enhanced strength. Shock absorption. Super regeneration. Unknown biological modifications. Izuku's eyes narrowed. It's built to fight All Might. Aizawa arrived nearby. Midoriya, get the students out. Izuku nodded. Understood. Izuku opened his character library. This time, he searched for something different. Not a warrior. Not a weapon. Not an attack. A strategist. Then another option appeared. RTS command system available. Izuku selected it. The ground beneath him glowed. A translucent tactical interface expanded around the battlefield. Dozens of unit icons appeared. This is. He could summon units. Not one. Not 10. Hundreds. Izuku quickly adjusted the settings. Non-lethal mode. The system accepted the command. Confirmed. Portals opened across the plaza. Soldiers, robots, support units, and defensive constructs emerged. The students stared. Where did all those come from? Izuku pointed toward the Nomu. Keep it away from everyone. The summoned units charged. The Nomu swung its arm. Boom. Dozens of units were thrown aside. But more replaced them. All Might looked toward Izuku. Young Midoriya, what exactly is your quirk? Izuku hesitated. I'm still figuring that out. The Nomu broke through the defensive line. Izuku switched abilities. Temporal acceleration. He immediately cancelled it. Too dangerous. Instead, he selected a powerful mobility skill. He rushed forward. The Nomu turned. Izuku appeared beneath its arm. He created a barrier around himself. Crash. The punch struck him. The barrier shattered. Izuku was thrown backward. He rolled across the ground. Ow. Aizawa looked at him. Midoriya. Izuku stood. I'm fine. He opened his inventory. I need something stronger. The library displayed thousands of options. He selected a temporary defensive buff. His body became surrounded by glowing symbols. Damage resistance activated. Izuku looked at the Nomu. Round 2. The Nomu charged. Izuku charged too. Boom. The two collided. The ground cracked beneath them. Izuku blocked a punch. Then another. He teleported. The Nomu turned. Izuku created a barrier. The Nomu struck it. Izuku countered with a powerful energy blast. Boom. The Nomu staggered. All Might immediately took the opening. United States. Izuku saw the attack coming. He quickly created a massive shield around the nearby students. Smash. Boom. The shockwave exploded across the plaza. The Nomu was launched backward. The villains were thrown off their feet. Izuku's shield shook violently. Everyone stay behind me. The portal suddenly reopened. Shigaraki looked toward the battlefield. His fingers tightened around his neck. What is that kid? Kurogiri answered. His abilities are difficult to classify. Shigaraki stared at Izuku. He's not using a normal quirk. Izuku looked back at them. His interface appeared. Hostile leader identified. Shigaraki Tamura. Threat level. Unknown. Izuku closed the window. We'll deal with him later. All Might finally defeated the Nomu with a barrage of powerful strikes. The villain was sent flying through the air. The remaining villains began retreating. Izuku's summoned units surrounded the escape routes. Don't let them hurt anyone. The units moved into position. Aizawa captured several villains. The rest were forced back through the portal. Shigaraki glared at Izuku before disappearing. I'll remember you. The portal closed. Silence returned to the U.S.J. Izuku looked around. The facility was damaged. His summoned army began disappearing one unit at a time. Ochako approached him. Midoriya. Yes. That was incredible. Tenya nodded. Your strategic coordination was exceptional. Izuku smiled. Thanks. Aizawa walked toward him. Midoriya. Izuku straightened. Yes, sir. We're going to have a long conversation about your quirk. Izuku swallowed. I figured. Aizawa looked at the destroyed battlefield. Especially the part where you summoned an army. Izuku rubbed the back of his head. That was actually one of the safer options. Aizawa stared at him. I don't want to know what the dangerous ones are. Izuku's interface appeared silently. New category unlocked. Boss abilities. Izuku stared at the notification. Then immediately closed it. Yeah, he looked toward the ruined facility. Probably best not to use those yet. The U.S.J. had finally become quiet. Most of the students had been evacuated. The injured were being treated. The remaining villains had either been captured or escaped through the warp gate. Izuku stood near the edge of the ruined plaza, staring at the place where the Nomu had disappeared. His notebook was open. Nomu analysis. Strength. Extreme. Shock absorption. Confirmed. Regeneration. Confirmed. Combat behavior. Highly aggressive. Primary target. All Might. Izuku added another line. Possible countermeasures. Unknown. He stopped writing. That thing was built specifically to fight All Might. Aizawa glanced at him. You noticed? Yes. Izuku looked toward the shattered buildings. If it had continued fighting, everyone nearby would have been in danger. Aizawa nodded. Which is why you shouldn't engage enemies like that without backup. Izuku closed his notebook. Understood. All Might approached them. His costume was damaged. His breathing was heavy. But he was still standing. Young Midoriya. Izuku looked up. Yes. Your assistance was invaluable. Izuku smiled. I was just trying to protect everyone. All Might placed a hand on his shoulder. And that is exactly what a hero should do. Izuku's face reddened. Thank you. Aizawa watched the exchange. Then his eyes narrowed. Midoriya. Yes. You said earlier that your quirk has access to thousands of abilities. Izuku nodded. Possibly millions. Aizawa's expression became tired. And you can use them simultaneously. Some of them. How many? Izuku hesitated. I haven't found the limit. Aizawa sighed. Of course. Later that afternoon, Izuku returned to the classroom with the rest of Class 1A. Everyone was exhausted. The U.S.J. incident had changed the atmosphere completely. The students had seen real villains. They had fought for their lives. And they had seen Izuku summon an entire army. Bakugo sat in his usual place. He glanced toward Izuku. Oi. Izuku looked over. What? That army thing. What about it? You've been hiding that this whole time. Izuku frowned. I only discovered the quirk recently. Bakugo clicked his tongue. So you're saying you've got an endless pile of powers now? Not endless. Close enough. Izuku didn't respond. Bakugo looked away. Damn nerd. The next day, U.A. began repairs. Izuku volunteered immediately. His game interface appeared. Construction abilities available. He selected a building system. Transparent blue outlines appeared over the damaged sections of the U.S.J. Izuku moved his hand. Wooden supports appeared. Then stone. Then metal. Workers stared at him. Did he just build that? Yes. Without tools. Apparently. Izuku continued. Within minutes, several damaged structures had been reinforced. Aizawa watched from a distance. His quirk isn't just combat-oriented. All Might nodded. He can rescue, construct, analyze, and fight. That's the problem. Aizawa folded his arms. There's no obvious weakness. That evening, Izuku returned home. He sat at his desk and opened the interface. New abilities available. Boss abilities. Legendary equipment. God-tier skills. Izuku stared at the categories. Those weren't there yesterday. The system responded. New abilities unlocked after combat experience. Izuku swallowed. So the library grows when I fight. Confirmed. Another notification appeared. Character synchronization available. Izuku selected it. A list of characters appeared. Some were familiar. Others came from games he had never played. Izuku scrolled through them. Then he noticed something. Maximum simultaneous summons. 100. His eyes widened. 100. He checked again. Yes. 100 characters. He could summon an entire team. Possibly an entire army. Izuku leaned back. That's insane. Then another notification appeared. Limit increase available. Izuku froze. What? Unlock requirement. Level increase. Izuku stared at the message. So even the summon limit isn't fixed. He closed the interface. I really need to be careful. The next morning, a training session was announced. Aizawa wanted to evaluate the students after the U.S.J. incident. Izuku stood on the training field. All right. He opened his interface. Let's test the safer abilities. Aizawa stood nearby. Remember. No lethal attacks. Yes, sir. Izuku selected a defensive character. A translucent armor appeared over his body. Then he selected a speed ability. His feet began glowing. Then a healing passive activated. Aizawa immediately raised an eyebrow. You're stacking abilities. Izuku nodded. Yes. How many? 3 right now. And you can add more. Probably. Aizawa stared at him. Don't. Izuku stopped. Right. Bakugo stepped forward. I'll fight him. The class became quiet. Izuku looked at him. Are you sure? Don't underestimate me. Bakugo raised his hands. Explosions erupted from his palms. Boom. Izuku activated a parry ability. Bakugo's first blast was deflected. He immediately attacked again. Boom. Izuku dodged. Another explosion. Izuku teleported behind him. Bakugo spun around. Got you. He fired another blast. Izuku raised a barrier. The explosion struck. Boom. Smoke covered the field. When it cleared, Izuku was still standing. Bakugo gritted his teeth. Damn it. Izuku lowered his hands. You've gotten stronger. Don't patronize me. Bakugo charged again. Izuku activated a short-range stun. A blue pulse hit Bakugo. He froze for a second. Izuku immediately deactivated it. I'm sorry. Bakugo glared. Don't apologize. Aizawa stepped between them. That's enough. Bakugo clicked his tongue. Izuku relaxed. Aizawa looked at him. You could have ended that fight instantly. Yes. Why didn't you? Izuku looked at Bakugo. Because the goal was training. Aizawa nodded. Good. Later. Izuku returned to his desk. His interface displayed another notification. Combat data recorded. Adaptive combat system unlocked. Izuku opened it. Ability combinations can now be created. He stared. Combinations. A new screen appeared. He could combine abilities from different games. Strength plus speed. Magic plus technology. Healing plus regeneration. Flight plus teleportation. Time manipulation plus combat skills. The possibilities were enormous. Izuku slowly closed the menu. I'm definitely not touching that during class. Far away, in a hidden laboratory, a man watched footage from the U.S.J. The screen showed Izuku summoning soldiers, creating barriers, using teleportation, and fighting beside All Might. All for one remained silent. The recording stopped. An extraordinary Quirk. His voice was calm, not a collection of abilities. He leaned closer to the screen. An entire system. Another recording played. Izuku's interface briefly appeared during the battle. All for one's expression changed. Interesting. Back at you. Izuku suddenly felt a chill. His interface appeared without being summoned. Warning. Izuku stared. External analysis detected. His smile disappeared. Someone is watching me. The interface flickered again. Unidentified user attempting system observation. Izuku immediately closed the menu. Outside the classroom, students continued talking. None of them noticed. Izuku quietly opened his notebook. Beneath his latest analysis, he wrote one sentence. Someone else has discovered my quirk. He looked toward the window. For the first time since his quirk had awakened, Izuku wondered whether having unlimited power also meant attracting unlimited enemies. Then another notification appeared. New threat registered. All for one. Izuku's eyes narrowed. So that's the name. He closed his notebook. I'll be ready. The U.A. Sports Festival had arrived. The stadium was packed with thousands of spectators. Cameras covered almost every section of the arena. Professional heroes watched from special seats. Izuku stood with Class 1A in the waiting area. His hands were slightly tense. This wasn't like the entrance exam. This time, everyone was watching. Midoriya. Izuku looked over. Tenya adjusted his glasses. Are you nervous? A little. You shouldn't be. Your performance during the entrance examination was exceptional. Izuku smiled. That's exactly why I'm nervous. Tenya looked confused. Why? Because everyone expects me to do something ridiculous now. Before Tenya could respond, Katsuki walked past them. Don't disappoint me, Deku. Izuku looked at him. I'll try. Bakugo scoffed. You'd better. The stadium suddenly erupted with cheers. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena. Welcome to the U.A. Sports Festival. The crowd roared. Izuku looked around. The scale of the event was overwhelming. His interface appeared. Special event detected. Objective. Survive the tournament. Izuku blinked. Survive. He quickly closed the message. Dramatic as always. The first event was announced. The obstacle race. Students gathered at the starting line. The track stretched across the stadium. Izuku looked ahead. There were robots, walls, traps, massive obstacles. He opened his interface. Mobility abilities available. He scrolled through them. Flight, super speed, teleportation, wall running, double jump, grappling, vehicle summoning. Izuku stopped. Vehicle summoning. He selected it. A small racing cart appeared beside him. Izuku stared. This is ridiculous. A few students nearby noticed. Did Midoriya just summon a vehicle? Where did that come from? Izuku quickly dismissed it. Never mind. The starting signal sounded. Boom. Everyone rushed forward. Izuku activated a controlled speed enhancement. He immediately passed several students. Tenya's engines roared. Midoriya. Izuku looked sideways. Iida. The two raced toward the first obstacle. A massive group of robots emerged. Students scattered. Izuku jumped. Double jump. Then another ability. Air dash. He flew over the robots. Tenya ran directly through them. We'll meet at the finish line. Right. The next obstacle was a canyon. A massive gap separated the two sides. Izuku stopped. Several students began looking for a way around. Izuku opened the interface. Grappling hook available. He selected it. A grappling device appeared in his hand. Click. The hook launched. It attached to the opposite wall. Izuku swung across. Then released. He landed safely. That works. He continued running. Behind him, several students followed his example. Then the ground shook. A huge mechanical obstacle appeared. Students screamed. Izuku recognized it. That's based on a boss fight. The machine swung a massive arm. Crash. The ground split. Izuku jumped over the attack. He activated a temporary speed boost. The world seemed to slow. He sprinted forward. Then the interface displayed another option. Cart available. Izuku smiled. Fine. The cart appeared. He jumped inside. The engine roared. Vroom. The vehicle accelerated. Izuku raced through the remaining obstacles. This is much faster. He drifted around a corner. Students stared. He's using a racing game mechanic. The final stretch approached. Izuku could already see the finish line. But several students were directly behind him. Bakugo, Todoroki, Tenya, and a few others. Izuku looked at the interface. Speed boost available. He hesitated. Just a small one. He activated it. The cart accelerated. Whoosh. Izuku crossed the finish line first. The stadium erupted. The announcer shouted, "Midoriya takes first place." Izuku stepped out of the cart. The vehicle disappeared. He looked toward the scoreboard. First Izuku Midoriya. He blinked. Already. Bakugo crossed the line shortly afterward. He immediately glared at Izuku. "You summoned a damn car." Izuku rubbed the back of his head. "It was efficient. You called it a race." "Yes." Bakugo clenched his fists. "Next round." Izuku nodded. "I'll see you there." Todoroki approached next. He looked at Izuku calmly. "Your Quirk." Izuku turned. "Yes. You keep changing abilities. That's how it works. How many do you have?" Izuku looked toward the interface. The number was too large to display normally. "I don't know." Todoroki remained silent. "Then I'll find out." Izuku's eyes widened slightly. "Okay." The next event was the cavalry battle. Izuku's interface immediately displayed a new notification. Team formation required. Izuku looked around. Students were already choosing teammates. Ochako approached him. "Midoriya, can I join your team?" Izuku smiled. "Of course." Tenya joined them as well. Then another student. Their team quickly formed. Izuku opened the party interface. Party established. Temporary buffs available. He hesitated. "Let's keep it fair." He disabled the combat buffs. Instead, he selected a basic movement enhancement. This should be enough. The cavalry battle began. Students charged toward each other. Teams collided across the field. Izuku activated a defensive shield. Crash. An attack bounced away. "Protect the headband." Ochako shouted. "I've got it." Izuku summoned a grappling hook. He attached it to a nearby structure. The entire team was pulled upward. Several competitors looked up. "What?" Izuku released the hook. They landed behind another team. Tenya immediately grabbed their headband. "Success." Izuku smiled. "Let's move." Another team attacked. Ice spread across the ground. Todoroki. Izuku quickly activated fire resistance. The ice reached them. Crack. The ground froze. But their team remained mobile. Ochako stared. "How did you avoid that?" "Elemental resistance." "You have that too." Apparently. Izuku's expression became slightly embarrassed. The timer reached 0. The scoreboard appeared. Izuku's team had qualified. Bakugo's team had also qualified. Todoroki's team qualified as well. The crowd roared. The announcer began explaining the final tournament. Izuku stood near the entrance to the arena. His interface appeared again. Tournament mode unlocked. Character synchronization restricted. Ability archive remains active. Izuku stared at the message. Restricted. Another notification appeared. Warning. Excessive ability combinations may damage the arena. Izuku sighed. That's probably fair. Before entering the tournament arena, Izuku looked toward the audience. All Might was there. Aizawa was watching him closely. The other pro heroes were also paying attention. Izuku took a breath. He didn't want to overwhelm everyone. He didn't want to turn the festival into a demonstration of impossible powers. He wanted to prove that he could control himself. The announcer called his name. Next up, Izuku Midoriya. The stadium erupted. Izuku stepped forward. His interface displayed one final message. Tournament begins. Izuku smiled. Let's keep it simple. He entered the arena. The stadium was still roaring after the first round of the tournament. Izuku stood in the arena, waiting for his next opponent. The giant screen above him displayed the match. Izuku Midoriya vs Shoto Todoroki. Izuku stared at the name. Todoroki. Across the arena, Shoto walked through the opposite entrance. His expression remained calm. The announcer raised his microphone. "This is going to be one incredible match." The crowd erupted. Izuku opened his game interface. Opponent analysis available. He selected it. Shoto Todoroki. Quirk. Half cold, half hot. Combat range. Extreme. Area control. High. Weaknesses. Stamina balance and temperature regulation. Izuku nodded. That's useful. The interface displayed another option. Recommended abilities detected. Fire resistance. Ice resistance. Magical barrier. Izuku selected all three. A faint glow appeared around his body. Todoroki noticed. "You're already using multiple abilities. Only defensive ones." "I see." The announcer raised his hand. "Begin." Crack. A massive wave of ice immediately spread across the arena. The crowd gasped. Izuku jumped. The ice climbed higher. He activated double jump. Then air dash. He flew above the frozen battlefield. "That's fast." Todoroki looked upward. Another wave of ice rose toward Izuku. Izuku opened the interface. Elemental resistance active. He didn't dodge. The ice struck him. Crack. He landed safely on the frozen surface. Todoroki's eyes widened slightly. "You resisted it." Izuku nodded. "Yes. Then I'll increase the temperature." Flames erupted from Todoroki's left side. Whom? A wall of fire swept across the arena. Izuku immediately activated another ability. Magical barrier. A translucent shield appeared around him. The flames struck. Whom? The barrier shook. Izuku remained inside. "That's stronger." Todoroki continued releasing flames. Izuku held the barrier. The heat increased. His interface displayed another warning. Barrier integrity. 61%. Izuku frowned. "I need another option." He opened the magic archive. There were thousands of spells. Fire, water, wind, earth, light, darkness, barriers, healing, teleportation, time. Izuku selected a spell he recognized as a simple water-based counter. A massive sphere of water appeared above him. Todoroki stopped. Izuku released it. Splash. The water spread across the arena, weakening the flames and covering the battlefield in steam. The crowd cheered. He countered Todoroki's fire. Izuku looked through the steam. Where is he? Danger sense activated. Threat detected. Izuku jumped backward. An enormous ice spike appeared where he had been standing. Crack. He landed several meters away. Todoroki walked through the steam. You have an answer for everything. Not everything. Izuku smiled. But I'm trying. Todoroki raised his right hand. Another wave of ice formed. This time, it was larger. Izuku looked at it. Okay. He opened another menu. Legendary equipment available. Mirror shield. Izuku selected it. A small shield appeared in his hand. Todoroki launched the ice. Crack. The entire wave struck the shield. Instead of hitting Izuku, the ice curved away. It spread across the opposite side of the arena. Todoroki stared. What did you do? Reflected it. Reflected. Izuku nodded. It's an ability from a fantasy game. The audience became louder. Even the pro heroes were paying close attention. Aizawa watched from the stands. He's using abilities without summoning characters. All Might nodded. He's also changing abilities depending on the situation. Which means he's thinking instead of relying on raw power. Aizawa looked at the arena. That's what makes him dangerous. Todoroki suddenly stopped attacking. Izuku noticed. Todoroki. Shoto looked at his left hand. Then his right. He remained silent. Izuku remembered what he had learned about Todoroki's quirk. His temperature balance. His reluctance to use one side. Izuku lowered his shield. You don't have to use everything at once. Todoroki looked at him. What? You'll exhaust yourself. I know. Then fight at your own pace. Todoroki's expression changed slightly. You're giving me advice. Yes. Why? Izuku shrugged. Because we're here to fight, not destroy each other. Todoroki stared at him. Then he raised his left hand again. Fine. Ice exploded across the arena. Crack. Izuku jumped. Todoroki followed with fire. Izuku switched abilities repeatedly. Ice resistance. Fire resistance. Air dash. Teleportation. Barrier. The battlefield became a storm of elemental attacks and glowing effects. Izuku moved through the chaos. He teleported behind an ice wall. Todoroki immediately turned. Izuku ducked beneath a wave of fire. He jumped over an ice spike. Then landed near the edge of the arena. Todoroki charged. Izuku raised his hand. A magical circle appeared. Let's finish this. Todoroki released a massive combined attack. Izuku activated the spell. A huge barrier expanded between them. Boom. The two attacks collided. The arena shook. Smoke covered the field. The crowd went silent. When the smoke cleared, both students were still standing. Izuku's barrier had cracked. Todoroki was breathing heavily. Izuku looked at the boundary line behind Shoto. Then he noticed the ice beneath his feet. An idea appeared. He opened his interface. Gravity manipulation available. Izuku selected a minimal setting. The ice beneath Todoroki's feet suddenly shifted. Todoroki lost his balance. What? Izuku used a controlled push. Todoroki slid backward. His foot crossed the boundary. The announcer immediately shouted, "Todoroki is out." The stadium exploded with cheers. Izuku lowered his hand. The gravity effect disappeared. Todoroki stood outside the arena. He looked at Izuku. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Todoroki nodded. "You won." Izuku nodded back. "Good fight." Todoroki turned away, then stopped. "Midoriya." "Yes. Next time, I'll be stronger." Izuku smiled. "I'll look forward to it." Izuku walked out of the arena. The interface appeared. Victory confirmed. Combat experience gained. New magic category unlocked. Elemental mastery increased. Izuku stared. Again. Another notification appeared. Advanced magic available. Izuku opened the menu. A new section appeared. High-level magic. Summoning. Reality alteration. Time control. Izuku immediately closed it. Not during a school tournament. Aizawa approached. "Good decision." Izuku nearly jumped. "You saw that." "I saw your face." Aizawa sighed. "Whatever that menu contains, don't activate it without supervision." "Understood." Izuku looked back toward the arena. Bakugo was waiting for his match. Todoroki stood nearby. The tournament was far from over. Izuku smiled. He had won without using his strongest abilities. That mattered more to him than the victory itself. His quirk could give him almost anything. But learning when not to use it was becoming just as important. The stadium erupted when Katsuki Bakugo entered the arena. He rolled his shoulders and stared directly at Izuku. "You're next, Deku." Izuku stood across from him. "Looks like it." Bakugo's palms crackled. "Boom. I'm not losing to you." Izuku opened his game interface. Opponent analysis available. Katsuki Bakugo. Quirk. Explosion. Combat style. Aggressive close range. Mobility. High. Attack power. High. Temperament. Unstable. Izuku blinked at the last line. The system really doesn't hold back. Bakugo frowned. "What are you muttering about?" "Nothing." The announcer raised his microphone. "Begin." Bakugo launched himself forward. Boom. He crossed the arena in an instant. Izuku barely moved his head as an explosion passed beside him. Too close. Bakugo spun around. "Don't underestimate me." Boom. Another explosion. Izuku jumped backward. His interface appeared. Recommended counter. Precision parry. Izuku selected it. A faint blue glow appeared around his hands. Bakugo charged again. This time, Izuku waited. Boom. At the exact moment the explosion reached him, Izuku raised his hand. Parry. The blast was redirected sideways. Bakugo's eyes widened. What? Izuku stepped away. That was close. You blocked my explosion. Redirected it. Bakugo's expression darkened. Then I'll make it bigger. Bakugo fired both palms simultaneously. Boom. The arena filled with smoke. Izuku's danger sense activated. Incoming attack. He jumped. Bakugo appeared above him. Got you. Boom. Izuku was sent downward. He activated a defensive ability before hitting the ground. Crash. He landed safely. Dust spread around him. Bakugo landed nearby. Stay down. Izuku stood. I'm fine. Bakugo's expression became furious. Why aren't you using those ridiculous powers? Izuku paused. Because I don't need them. Silence. Bakugo's palms began sparking harder. What did you say? I'm trying to fight you without overwhelming you. Don't pity me. Boom. Bakugo attacked relentlessly. Explosion after explosion filled the arena. Izuku moved between them. He used short dashes, air steps, precise parries, small barriers. He never launched a powerful counterattack. The crowd began noticing. Midoriya isn't attacking. He's only defending. The announcer shouted. Bakugo is throwing everything he has at Midoriya. Izuku continued dodging. Boom. Another explosion. Izuku ducked. Bakugo appeared behind him. Stop running. Izuku turned. I'm not running. He caught Bakugo's wrist. I'm waiting. Bakugo's eyes widened. Izuku activated a simple stun effect. A blue pulse passed through Bakugo. His body froze for half a second. Izuku immediately released him. That was enough. Bakugo shook himself free. Damn it. He raised both hands. His palms were glowing intensely. Izuku's interface flashed. High output explosion detected. Recommended action. Evade. Izuku nodded. Iida said you developed a new technique. Bakugo grinned. You'll see it. He launched himself forward. Boom. A massive explosion erupted. The force pushed Izuku backward. His shoes scraped against the ground. He activated a defensive skill. Then another. Then another. The blast finally faded. Izuku remained standing. His uniform was torn slightly. Bakugo stared. You're still standing. Izuku looked down at himself. Barely. Izuku opened the interface. For a moment, hundreds of abilities appeared. God-tier strength. Reality manipulation. Time stop. Instant teleportation. Invulnerability. Respawn. He could end the match immediately. But he closed the menu. Instead, he selected a simple combat ability. Enhanced reflexes. Bakugo rushed him. Izuku moved. 1 step. 2. 3. He avoided every explosion. Bakugo swung his arm. Izuku parried. Bakugo fired another blast. Izuku redirected it. Bakugo attempted another attack. Izuku ducked. The crowd became louder. He's reading Bakugo's movements. Aizawa watched carefully. He's adapting. All Might smiled. He's learning. Bakugo suddenly changed direction. Izuku's danger sense reacted. Bakugo fired an explosion behind himself. The blast launched him forward. He appeared directly in front of Izuku. Now, Izuku raised his arm. Boom. The explosion struck his barrier. The barrier cracked. Izuku was pushed backward. His foot landed dangerously close to the boundary. Bakugo grinned. You're out of room. Izuku looked down. Then at Bakugo. You're right. He opened his interface. Movement skill available. Izuku selected a short-range teleport. Blue light flashed. He vanished. Bakugo's eyes widened. Izuku reappeared behind him. Bakugo turned. Too late. Izuku placed 2 fingers against his shoulder. Stun. Blue energy pulsed. Bakugo's body locked for a moment. Izuku gently pushed him. Bakugo stumbled forward. His foot crossed the boundary. The announcer immediately shouted. Bakugo is out of bounds. The stadium exploded with cheers. Bakugo remained frozen. What? Izuku lowered his hand. You lost. Bakugo turned toward him. His expression was furious. You didn't beat me. Izuku looked confused. I knocked you out of bounds. That's not a real victory. Izuku shrugged. The rules say otherwise. Bakugo clenched his fists. Then the referee stepped forward. The winner is Izuku Midoriya. The result appeared on the screen. Winner. Izuku Midoriya. Bakugo stared at it. For once, he had nothing to say. Izuku walked toward him. You fought really well. Bakugo glared. Don't talk to me. Izuku stopped. Okay. Bakugo turned away. His hands were shaking. Not from fear. From frustration. He had attacked with everything he had. Izuku had barely used any of his power. And that fact hurt more than losing. Outside the arena, Aizawa approached Izuku. Good control. Izuku smiled. Thanks. You deliberately avoided your strongest abilities. Yes. Why? Izuku looked toward Bakugo. Because if I used them, the fight wouldn't be fair. Aizawa nodded. That's the correct answer. All Might joined them. Young Midoriya, you demonstrated remarkable restraint. Izuku smiled. I'm still learning. That evening, Izuku sat alone in the locker room. The interface appeared. Victory confirmed. Advanced combat experience acquired. Parry mastery increased. Adaptive combat unlocked. Izuku smiled. Then another notification appeared. Rival synchronization detected. Izuku frowned. Rival synchronization. A new icon appeared. Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku stared. What does that mean? The system displayed another message. Repeated combat against a rival increases adaptation efficiency. Izuku blinked. So fighting Bakugo makes me better at adapting. Confirmed. Izuku looked toward the arena. That's actually useful. He closed the interface. The sports festival continued around him. But Izuku had learned something important. He didn't need to use the strongest ability available. Sometimes, winning with the smallest amount of power was the better victory. The streets of Hosu were unusually quiet that evening. Izuku walked through a narrow alley with Tenya Iida nearby. They had been sent to Hosu for their internships, but Izuku's game interface had detected something unusual. Dangerous target detected. Identity. Stain. Izuku stopped. Iida. Tenya turned. Yes. Someone is nearby. Before Tenya could answer, a figure landed on a rooftop above them. A long sword rested in his hand. His eyes were fixed on Iida. Iida froze. Stain. Izuku immediately opened his interface. Target analysis. Combat style. Swordsmanship. Mobility. High. Blood-based paralysis ability detected. Recommended strategy. Avoid direct contact. Stain jumped. Whoosh. Iida activated his engines and rushed forward. Stay away from him. Stain blocked Iida's kick. Crack. Iida was thrown backward. Izuku moved. Stealth ability available. Izuku activated it. His presence became almost impossible to detect. He disappeared into the shadows. Stain looked around. Where did he go? Izuku appeared behind him. Right here. Stain spun around. His sword swung toward Izuku. Izuku activated a parry. Clang. The blade was redirected. Stain's eyes widened. Another hero. Izuku stepped backward. I'm not here to kill you. Then you're a fool. Stain charged again. Izuku activated enhanced reflexes. He avoided the sword by centimeters. Another slash. He ducked. Another. He stepped aside. Stain was fast, but Izuku's combat system continuously analyzed his movements. Attack pattern identified. Prediction accuracy increased. Izuku waited for the next strike. Stain lunged. Izuku moved before the sword reached him. He grabbed Stain's wrist. Got you. Stain attempted to lick blood from Izuku's arm. Izuku immediately teleported backward. Not happening. Stain glared. Coward. Izuku shook his head. Careful. Iida charged again. Stain blocked him and raised his sword. Izuku reacted instantly. Black energy formed around his arm. A grappling ability activated. The cable wrapped around Stain's weapon. Izuku pulled. The sword flew from Stain's hand. Iida stared. Midoriya. Now. Iida kicked Stain into the wall. Boom. Stain collapsed. Izuku immediately activated a non-lethal restraint. Energy bands wrapped around Stain's arms and legs. The hero killer struggled. Release me. Izuku shook his head. No. Stain glared at him. You don't understand what a true hero is. Izuku looked at him calmly. Maybe. He tightened the restraints. But I know one thing. Stain stared. Heroes don't need to murder people to prove they're heroes. Stain became silent. Police sirens approached. Izuku looked toward Iida. Are you injured? Iida shook his head. Minor injuries. Good. Izuku opened his interface. Mission complete. Target subdued. Civilian casualties. 0. Izuku smiled. That's what matters. Later, the captured Stain was taken away. Izuku stood on a rooftop overlooking Hosu. His interface appeared again. Combat data acquired. Stealth mastery increased. Sword defense mastery increased. Then another notification appeared. New ability unlocked. Assassin synchronization. Izuku blinked. Again, the interface opened a new character category. Stealth specialists. Assassins. Ninjas. Thieves. Hunters. Izuku stared at the list. This quirk really doesn't stop. Iida approached him. Midoriya. Izuku closed the interface. Yes. Thank you. Izuku smiled. You don't have to thank me. Iida shook his head. You protected me. Izuku looked toward the city. That's what heroes are supposed to do. His interface quietly displayed another message. New threat detected. All for one. Izuku's smile faded. He had seen that name before. And this time, the system's warning was much more serious. Threat level. Critical. The room was dark. Only the glow of several monitors illuminated the walls. On one screen, a recording of the U.S.J. incident played. Izuku stood among the students. Another screen showed his fight against Todoroki. Another showed his battle with Bakugo. Then the footage changed to Hosu. Izuku moved through the shadows before subduing Stain. The man sitting in front of the screens watched without saying a word. All for one. Beside him, several analysts stood nervously. Play the first recording again. The footage restarted. Izuku appeared on screen. A barrier formed around him. Then a different ability. Then another. The analysts exchanged uneasy glances. We've examined his quirk factor, one of them said. The results don't make sense. All for one tilted his head. Explain. There is no conventional quirk factor corresponding to the abilities he's displaying. The analyst changed the screen. His body isn't storing multiple quirks in the conventional sense. There's no obvious genetic structure capable of producing them. All for one remained silent. Then where do the abilities come from? The analyst swallowed. We don't know. The recording continued. Izuku summoned a group of strange units during the U.S.J. incident. Another recording showed him using teleportation. Another showed him reflecting Todoroki's eyes. Another showed him parrying Bakugo's explosions. All for one watched carefully. He doesn't simply possess multiple abilities. The analyst looked at him. What do you mean? He selects them. All for one leaned forward. Like weapons from an armory. The room became silent. If that is true, he continued, then the boy's quirk isn't merely powerful. His fingers tapped against the armrest. It's a system. Far away, Izuku sat in his room at U.A. His notebook was open. He had written dozens of pages about his quirk. Ability archive, character library, summoning system, equipment inventory, party system, adaptive combat. He turned another page. There's still something I don't understand. He opened the interface. Current archive status. Characters. Countless. Abilities. Countless. Equipment. Countless. World-class abilities. Locked. Izuku frowned. World-class. He selected the option. Warning. Abilities in this category may affect fundamental reality. Izuku immediately closed it. Definitely not. Another notification appeared. External threat detected. Izuku froze. The same warning from before. All for one. He's still watching. Izuku looked around his room. There was nobody there, yet his danger sense had activated. He opened a small defensive menu. Surveillance detection available. He selected it. The room briefly shimmered. Nothing. Izuku frowned. So he isn't physically here. Another possibility entered his mind. Someone is analyzing my quirk from a distance. He opened his notebook and wrote it down. All for one may be attempting to understand the archive before attacking. Then he stopped. Why? The answer was obvious. Because he wants it. The following morning, Izuku arrived at class. Ochako noticed his expression. Midoriya, are you okay? Yeah, you look worried. Izuku hesitated. He didn't want to frighten everyone. I think someone dangerous is interested in my quirk. Tenya immediately became serious. Who? Izuku lowered his voice. All for one. The surrounding students went quiet. Everyone knew the name, even if they had never encountered him personally. Bakugo frowned. That old villain. Izuku nodded. I think he's trying to figure out how my quirk works. Todoroki looked at him. Can he steal it? Izuku opened the interface. Quirk theft compatibility. Unknown. I don't know. That answer made the room even quieter. Aizawa entered the classroom. Everyone, settle down. The students returned to their seats. Izuku closed his interface. Aizawa noticed. Midoriya. Yes. You've been distracted. Izuku hesitated. There may be a villain investigating my quirk. Aizawa's expression immediately became serious. Who? All for one. The room fell silent again. Aizawa stared at him for several seconds. We'll discuss this after class. Understood. Later, Izuku stood with Aizawa and All Might in a private room. All Might looked unusually serious. Young Midoriya, All for one is not an opponent to take lightly. Izuku nodded. I know. If he attempts to steal your quirk. Izuku opened the interface. There might be a defense. Aizawa looked at him. Might. Izuku selected the quirk protection menu. A message appeared. Foreign quirk extraction detected. System response unavailable. Izuku's eyes widened. It doesn't say whether it can stop him. All Might frowned. Then we must assume the worst. Izuku closed the menu. All prepare. That night, All for one sat in his laboratory. A small machine displayed a holographic image of Izuku. The machine had analyzed every available recording. All for one looked at the data. Strength, speed, magic, teleportation, regeneration, weapons, summoning, reality manipulation. He paused. And possibly resurrection. His expression remained calm. If I acquire this ability. The lights flickered. The machine suddenly displayed an error. Access denied. All for one looked at the screen. What? The message disappeared. Another appeared. Unauthorized quirk extraction attempt detected. Archive protection activated. All for one stared. Then slowly smiled. So. He leaned back. The system has defenses. Back at you. Izuku suddenly woke up. His interface was glowing. Unauthorized access attempt detected. Source identified. All for one. Izuku sat up. He tried already. Another message appeared. Access denied. Izuku stared. Then smiled slightly. Good. But a final warning appeared beneath it. Enemy has confirmed archive existence. Threat escalation. Critical. Izuku's smile disappeared. He reached for his notebook. On the first page, He wrote a new heading. How to prepare for All for One. Then he opened the character library. For the first time, he wasn't searching for a stronger attack. He searched for something else. Defense, counter theft, anti-magic, anti-reality manipulation, immortality, resurrection. The list seemed endless. Izuku stared at it. If he's coming for my quirk. He selected several defensive abilities. Then I'll make sure he can't take it. Outside his window, the lights of U.A. continued shining. Far away, All for One was preparing his next move. And for the first time, both sides understood that their confrontation was inevitable. The summer training camp was supposed to be a chance for Class 1A to improve. Instead, it became a battlefield. Izuku stood among the trees with his classmates, listening to the instructors explain the training exercise. His game interface remained open in the corner of his vision. Environment scan complete. Hostile entities. None detected. Izuku relaxed slightly. Looks safe. Aizawa looked at him. Don't get comfortable. Izuku nodded. The students separated into smaller groups and began moving through the forest. Night had fallen when the first explosion shook the trees. Boom. Izuku immediately turned. That wasn't part of the training. Another explosion followed. Then another. Warning. Hostile entities detected. Multiple targets. Izuku's expression changed. Villains. All around the forest, lights and explosions appeared. The Vanguard Action Squad had arrived. Students began shouting. Everyone, stay together. Izuku opened his map. Red markers appeared everywhere. They're attacking multiple locations. He zoomed in. Bakugo, Todoroki, Tokiyami, Yaoyorozu, Koda, several others, were surrounded. A group of villains rushed through the trees. Izuku opened his character library. Defensive systems available. Tower defense system. He selected it. Blue grids appeared across the forest floor. Small defensive towers materialized between the trees. What are those? Ochako stared. Defense units. The first villain stepped into range. The towers fired. Zap. The villain fell unconscious. More enemies appeared. The towers fired again. Zap. Izuku quickly adjusted their settings. Non-lethal mode. Confirmed. Good. A villain charged toward the students. Izuku opened his inventory. Shield available. A large shield appeared. Crash. The attack struck it. Izuku held his position. Everyone move. Tenya immediately began directing the others. This way. The students retreated behind the defensive line. More towers appeared. Then more. The forest slowly transformed into a battlefield filled with glowing defensive structures. One villain stared at the scene. What the hell is this kid's quirk? Izuku didn't answer. He was too busy managing the interface. Enemy wave detected. Wave 2 approaching. Izuku's eyes widened. There's another group. He opened the summoning menu. Normally, he could summon individual characters. But the tower defense system had another function. Unit deployment available. Izuku selected it. Hundreds of small combat units appeared throughout the forest. Robots, soldiers, creatures, magical constructs. Each came from a different game. Ochako stared. There are so many. They're temporary. How temporary? Izuku checked. About 10 minutes. That's still a lot. Suddenly, something massive crashed through the trees. Muscular. The villain roared. Where's Bakugo? Izuku's danger sense activated. High threat target detected. Izuku stepped forward. Everyone stay behind me. The villain charged. Boom. Izuku blocked the punch with a barrier. The impact shattered the first layer. Izuku immediately created another. Crack. The second barrier broke. He stepped backward. Strong. The villain attacked again. Izuku activated enhanced reflexes. He dodged. Then summoned a restraint device. Chains wrapped around the villain's arms. The villain ripped them apart. Izuku frowned. That won't work. He switched abilities. Gravity manipulation. The villain suddenly dropped to one knee. The ground cracked beneath him. Izuku followed with a stun effect. Blue energy spread across the villain's body. He collapsed. Izuku deactivated the gravity. Done. Aizawa appeared nearby. He looked at the battlefield. Midoriya. Yes. How many abilities are you using? Izuku checked. 7. Aizawa stared. 7. I'm keeping them separate. Good. Aizawa looked toward the forest. Then keep doing that. Izuku nodded. Farther away, several villains had reached another group of students. Izuku's map showed their positions. They need help. He opened the teleportation menu. Tenya grabbed his shoulder. Midoriya, wait. Izuku looked at him. What? You can't protect everyone alone. Izuku looked at the map. Then at his classmates. I don't have to. He opened the party system. Party members detected. Coordinated movement available. Izuku selected the entire group. Party synchronization activated. Temporary markers appeared over every classmate. Izuku could now see their locations. Everyone. His voice carried through the communication system. Stay where you are. I'll send support. The forest changed instantly. Towers shifted targets. Summoned units moved between battlefields. Healing units reached injured students. Barriers appeared around isolated groups. Even the villains began realizing that the forest was no longer under their control. He's coordinating everything. Find the green-haired kid. Take him down. Izuku heard the transmission. He looked up. They're coming for me. Aizawa stepped beside him. Then they're making a mistake. Izuku smiled. I think so too. A massive group of villains emerged from the trees. Izuku opened his library. This time, he selected a different option. Boss defense available. He hesitated. Only one. A large summoned guardian appeared behind him. The creature stood silently. The villains stopped. Izuku pointed forward. Protect the students. The guardian moved. Boom. The villains were knocked backward. Another group attacked from the side. The defensive towers fired. Zap. The entire group collapsed. Then a voice echoed through the forest. Midoriya. Izuku turned. Bakugo was standing in the distance. He was surrounded by villains. Izuku immediately opened the map. Bakugo. He started moving. But another notification appeared. High priority target detected. Bakugo capture attempt. Izuku's expression hardened. Not happening. He selected teleportation. Blue light surrounded him. Before disappearing, he gave one command to the summoned army. Hold the line. The units responded. The forest erupted with movement. Izuku vanished. He reappeared beside Bakugo. Midoriya. Izuku raised a barrier. Crash. An incoming attack struck it. We're leaving. Bakugo grinned despite himself. Took you long enough. Izuku looked at him. You could have asked for help. Shut up. Izuku smiled. Fine. The two stood back to back. Around them, the forest was filled with towers, summoned units, and glowing portals. Izuku opened his interface. Objective updated. Protect Class 1A. Secondary objective. Prevent student capture. Izuku tightened his grip. Let's get everyone out. Bakugo's palms sparked. Boom. Finally. They charged into the battlefield together. The city of Kamino was under heavy surveillance. After the forest camp attack, the situation had become worse. Bakugo had been captured. Izuku stood inside a temporary command room with All Might, Aizawa, and several pro-heroes. A map of Kamino covered the main screen. We know the general location, Aizawa said. But we don't know how many villains are waiting. Izuku stared at the map. His interface appeared. Rescue mission detected. Objective. Rescue Katsuki Bakugo. Recommended party size. Unlimited. Izuku blinked. Unlimited. All Might looked at him. Young Midoriya. Izuku opened the character library. Thousands of names appeared. Heroes. Warriors. soldiers, mages, hunters, robots, characters from worlds he had never even explored. Izuku scrolled through the list. Then he stopped. I have an idea. Izuku selected the summoning menu. Character deployment. Maximum simultaneous summons. 100. He increased the number. The system accepted it. Temporary limit bypass available. Izuku stared. Seriously. Confirmation required. Large-scale summoning may cause severe environmental damage. Izuku immediately adjusted the settings. Non-lethal. Confirmed. Limited equipment. Confirmed. No area destruction abilities. Confirmed. Aizawa watched him. What are you doing? Izuku looked up. Building a rescue team. The first portal opened. A heavily armored soldier stepped through. Izuku recognized him immediately. Master Chief. The second portal opened. A warrior carrying an enormous weapon emerged. Doom Slayer. Another portal appeared. A white-haired swordsman stepped through. Geralt. Then more portals opened. Warriors. Soldiers. Mages. Mechanical units. Support characters. The room became crowded. All Might stared. Young Midoriya. Yes. How many allies have you summoned? Izuku checked. 23. Aizawa's eyes narrowed. And you can summon more. Yes. Don't. Izuku paused. Right. The summoned team gathered around Izuku. Master Chief looked at the map. Doom Slayer remained silent. Geralt crossed his arms. Who are we rescuing? Izuku pointed toward the screen. My classmate. Geralt nodded. Then let's get him back. Izuku smiled. Thanks. All Might stepped forward. Young Midoriya. Are you certain this is necessary? Izuku looked at the assembled team. Bakugo is surrounded by villains. He opened the map. If we enter normally, they'll prepare for us. Aizawa understood. So you're going to overwhelm their information network. Izuku nodded. Exactly. The team moved through Kamino. Izuku used stealth abilities to hide their presence. Master Chief and several summoned soldiers moved ahead. Geralt checked the surrounding streets. Izuku watched the interface. Enemy surveillance detected. Countermeasure available. He activated a hacking ability. The cameras went dark. Were invisible. Aizawa looked at him. For how long? About 5 minutes. Then move. The rescue team reached the building. Izuku opened his map. Multiple enemy markers appeared. There are at least 50. Master Chief raised his weapon. Izuku shook his head. Non-lethal. The armored soldier nodded. The doors opened. The first wave of villains charged. The gaming vanguard moved. Boom. Stun rounds. Energy barriers. Grappling devices. Magical restraints. The villains fell one after another. Geralt moved through the corridor with precise strikes. Master Chief covered the rear. Doom Slayer simply walked forward. Izuku followed behind them. Left corridor. Master Chief turned. Contact. 3 villains appeared. Zap. They were instantly restrained. Izuku looked at the interface. Path cleared. Keep moving. They reached the room where Bakugo was being held. Bakugo looked up. His eyes widened. What the hell? Izuku smiled. We're here to get you. Bakugo stared at the strange group behind him. Who are these freaks? Izuku pointed at Master Chief. Ally. Then Doom Slayer. Also ally. Then Geralt. Also ally. Bakugo stared. You've got to be kidding me. Izuku opened the restraints. We need to leave. Bakugo stood. I could have escaped myself. I know. Then why did you come? Izuku smiled. Because you're my classmate. Bakugo went silent. Suddenly, the building shook. Boom. Izuku's danger sense activated. Major threat detected. Multiple hostile signatures. His expression changed. They know we're here. Aizawa looked toward the entrance. Then we fight our way out. Izuku opened the summoning menu. Additional units available. He selected another group. Dozens of support units appeared in the hallway. Protect the students. The units moved. The villains attacked from every direction. Boom. The walls shook. Izuku created barriers. Master Chief fired controlled shots. Geralt blocked incoming attacks. Doom Slayer charged through the center. Bakugo joined the battle. Boom. Move. Izuku laughed. Gladly. The group advanced. Then Izuku's interface suddenly flashed red. Critical threat detected. Unidentified Quirk signature. Source. All for one. Izuku stopped. He's here. Bakugo looked at him. Who? Izuku stared toward the distant building. The person who's been watching my quirk. Aizawa's expression hardened. All for one. The atmosphere changed immediately. Izuku opened his character library. The entire interface began filling with warning messages. Threat escalation. Archive security activated. Emergency combat mode available. Izuku took a breath. Everyone. The summoned characters turned toward him. Our mission has changed. Master Chief raised his weapon. Izuku looked toward the battlefield. We rescue Bakugo. He opened a portal. Then we get out. Another portal opened behind him. And if All for One comes after us? Izuku's eyes narrowed. We make sure he regrets it. The streets of Kamino had become a battlefield. Smoke covered the buildings. Sirens echoed between the towers. Izuku stood beside All Might while the gaming vanguard spread across the ruined street. Bakugo was safely behind them. This is insane, Bakugo muttered. Izuku looked toward the center of the street. It's about to get worse. Aizawa narrowed his eyes. There. A figure emerged from the smoke. All for one. He walked calmly through the destruction. So you're the boy behind this strange ability. Izuku's interface immediately activated. Critical threat detected. All for one. Multiple stolen abilities detected. Izuku swallowed. He's stronger than the scans suggested. All Might stepped forward. Stay behind me, young Midoriya. Izuku shook his head. I can help. I know. All Might clenched his fist. But this villain is mine. All for one raised his hand. How touching. Boom. A massive blast tore through the street. All Might blocked it. The shockwave shattered nearby windows. Izuku raised a barrier around Bakugo and the others. Crack. The barrier shook. Everyone stay behind me. All Might charged. All for one released several quirks simultaneously. Air cannons. Strength enhancement. Impact recoil. Energy blasts. The attacks collided with All Might. Boom. He was thrown backward. Izuku's eyes widened. All Might. Master Chief immediately moved forward. Doom Slayer followed. Geralt drew his sword. Izuku raised his hand. Don't kill him. The three stopped. Izuku opened the command interface. Non-lethal combat protocol activated. The gaming vanguard charged. Master Chief fired controlled shots. Geralt moved between the villains' attacks. Doom Slayer struck with overwhelming force but stopped before delivering a lethal blow. All for one blocked the attacks. Interesting. He looked toward Izuku. You command them. Izuku stared back. Yes. Then perhaps I should remove the commander. All for one disappeared. Danger sense screamed. Izuku turned. A fist was already inches from his face. Crash. A barrier appeared. The impact shattered it. Izuku was thrown backward. Bakugo shouted. Deku. Izuku recovered in midair. He teleported. All for one appeared behind him. Izuku activated a parry. Crack. The attack was redirected. Too slow. Izuku fired a stun spell. All for one blocked it. Too simple. Izuku frowned. Fine. He switched abilities. Speed. Strength. Reflexes. Teleportation. Barrier. He activated them simultaneously. All for one's expression changed. So you can stack them. Izuku rushed forward. Boom. The two collided. All Might saw the opening. Young Midoriya. Izuku looked over. All Might charged. Detroit. Izuku understood immediately. Smash. Boom. All Might's punch struck All for one. The villain was driven backward. The gaming vanguard surrounded him. Master Chief raised his weapon. Geralt prepared his sign. Doom Slayer stepped forward. Izuku raised his hand. Now, every summoned unit attacked simultaneously. Energy blasts, magical projectiles, stun fields, restraint cables, barriers. The entire street flashed with different colors. Boom. All for One was buried beneath the combined attack. Silence. Smoke drifted through the street. Bakugo stared. Did we win? Izuku's interface answered. Target remains active. Izuku's eyes widened. Not yet. A massive shockwave exploded outward. Boom. The summoned characters were thrown away. All Might was forced backward. Izuku created a barrier. Crack. The barrier shattered. He created another. Crack. Another broke. All for One emerged from the smoke. His mask was damaged, but he was still standing. Impressive. He looked directly at Izuku. Now I understand. Izuku narrowed his eyes. Understand what? Your power isn't merely a quirk. All for One raised his hand. It's a library. The interface suddenly flashed red. Unauthorized extraction attempt detected. Target attempting quirk acquisition. Izuku felt something pulling at his body. What? All for One smiled. Give it to me. The interface reacted. Access denied. All for One's smile disappeared. What? The pull vanished. Izuku took a breath. You can't steal it. All for One stared at him. Why? Izuku looked at the glowing interface. Because it isn't stored like a normal quirk. A new message appeared. Archive ownership confirmed. User. Izuku Midoriya. Izuku smiled. It's mine. All for One became furious. He unleashed every attack available. Boom. The street erupted. Izuku opened his character library. This time, he selected an entire squad. Heroes, mages, warriors, soldiers, mechanical units. They appeared around him. Protect everyone. The summoned army formed a wall. All Might stood beside Izuku. Ready. Izuku nodded. Ready. All Might raised his fist. Then let's finish this. The two charged together. Behind them, the gaming vanguard followed. Ahead stood All for One. The final collision was about to begin. The battlefield had become almost unrecognizable. Buildings were damaged. The streets were covered in cracks. Dozens of summoned characters stood between the heroes and All for One. Izuku stood beside All Might. His game interface was glowing intensely. Critical battle detected. Archive security active. Reality class abilities available. Izuku stared at the final message. Reality class. All for One raised his hand. You've delayed me long enough. A massive combination of quirks formed around him. Air pressure, energy blasts, kinetic force, fire, black tendrils. Boom. The attack swept across the street. Izuku raised both hands. Barrier. A massive shield appeared. Crack. The shield broke almost instantly. Another one. A second barrier appeared. Crack. It broke too. All Might moved forward. Young Midoriya. I'm fine. Izuku opened the archive. I have another option. All for One suddenly disappeared. Danger sense activated. Izuku turned. A fist struck his barrier. Boom. He was thrown backward. All for One appeared above him. Your defenses won't last forever. Izuku teleported. He reappeared behind All for One. A magical blade appeared in his hand. Clang. All for One blocked it. Izuku followed with a rapid combination of attacks. Slash, parry, dash, teleport. All for One blocked every strike. Your abilities are impressive. He grabbed Izuku's arm. But you're still human. Izuku's interface flashed. Emergency ability available. Respawn. Izuku activated it. His body vanished from All for One's grip. He reappeared several meters away. All for One froze. What did you just do? Izuku breathed heavily. I respawned. All for One stared. You can revive yourself. Apparently. Then I'll simply destroy you repeatedly. Izuku shook his head. That won't work either. He opened another menu. Save state. A glowing symbol appeared. Current state recorded. All for One watched. What is that? Izuku smiled. Insurance. All for One released another massive attack. Boom. The entire street disappeared beneath smoke. The gaming vanguard was scattered. All Might was forced backward. Bakugo shouted from behind the defensive line. Deku. Izuku's silhouette appeared through the smoke. He was still standing. All for One stared. Impossible. Izuku opened his interface. Damage recovery available. His injuries disappeared. All for One became silent. You truly possess everything. Izuku looked at him. Not everything. He selected another option. But enough. All for One suddenly rushed forward. His hand reached for Izuku's chest. The interface reacted. Quirk theft detected. Unauthorized access. Access denied. A red message appeared. All for One's hand stopped inches from Izuku. No. He pushed harder. Give me your quirk. The system responded. Access denied. User authentication required. Foreign user rejected. All for One screamed. Why? Izuku looked at the interface. Then he noticed something else. Administrator privileges available. Izuku's eyes widened. Administrator. He selected it. The entire interface changed. The battlefield froze. All Might stopped mid-motion. All for One stopped. Even the falling debris remained suspended in the air. Izuku looked around. I can pause everything. He opened a new menu. World settings. Physics. Gravity. Time. Object properties. Entity permissions. Izuku stared. This isn't just a game library. He slowly understood. It's a sandbox. Izuku selected All for One. A new window appeared. Entity selected. Permissions available. Move. Attack. Use abilities. Access quirks. Interact with archive. Izuku hesitated. Then he selected the last option. Access to archive. Denied. All for One suddenly regained movement. He staggered backward. What did you do? Izuku looked at him. I removed your access. All for One tried to activate another quirk. Nothing happened. He raised his hand. Nothing. What? He tried again. Nothing. His breathing became heavier. What did you do to my quirks? Izuku shook his head. I didn't steal them. He pointed toward the interface. I changed the permissions. All for One charged forward physically. Izuku selected another option. Movement speed. Reduced. All for One's body slowed. He attempted another attack. Attack power. Restricted. His punch became weak. All for One stared at his own hand. Izuku looked serious. I don't want to kill you. He selected one final command. Hostile entity containment. A massive digital cage appeared around All for One. Energy walls surrounded him. All for One attacked the barrier. Crack. Nothing happened. Again. Crack. Still nothing. Izuku walked toward him. It's over. All for One glared at him. You think this will stop me? Izuku opened the interface. Hostile entity status. Contained. Archive access. Denied. Quirk theft. Disabled. Izuku nodded. Yes. The frozen battlefield suddenly resumed. Boom. The remaining energy dissipated. All Might looked around. What happened? Izuku pointed toward the cage. He's contained. All Might stared. All for One stood inside the glowing structure, unable to use his quirks. Aizawa arrived with several heroes. Midoriya. Izuku turned. Yes. What did you do? Izuku looked at the interface. I changed the rules. Aizawa stared at him. That's not an explanation. Izuku smiled awkwardly. I know. The heroes surrounded All for One. He remained silent. For the first time, he had no immediate answer. Izuku looked at the battlefield. His summoned characters began disappearing. Master Chief lowered his weapon. Geralt sheathed his sword. Doom Slayer simply turned away. One by one, The portals closed. Bakugo approached Izuku. That was ridiculous. Izuku looked at him. What was everything? Izuku laughed. Fair enough. All Might placed a hand on Izuku's shoulder. Young Midoriya. Yes. You saved countless lives today. Izuku looked at the damaged city. Everyone helped. All Might smiled. Perhaps. Izuku's interface suddenly appeared. Major threat defeated. World event completed. New feature unlocked. Izuku opened it. Reality editing. World restoration. Administrator mode. Izuku stared. World restoration. He looked at the damaged buildings. Then at the injured heroes. A small smile appeared. Maybe I can fix this. He selected the option. Restoration target. Kamino. Confirmation required. Izuku paused. Not yet. Aizawa looked at him. Why? Izuku closed the menu. Because I need to learn exactly what it does first. Aizawa nodded. Good. Izuku looked toward the captured All for One. The villain was finally powerless. But Izuku knew something had changed. His quirk had just revealed that it wasn't merely an archive of video game abilities. It could alter the world itself. The Battle of Kamino was over. All for One had been captured. The destroyed streets were slowly being cleared while injured heroes were transported to nearby hospitals. Izuku stood quietly among the ruins. His summoned characters were disappearing one by one. Master Chief vanished first, then Geralt, then the remaining soldiers and warriors. Finally, the last portal closed. Izuku looked at his empty hands. Thank you. The interface appeared. Major event completed. All for One defeated. Global threat neutralized. Izuku stared at the final line. New title unlocked. Multiverse Hero. Multiverse Hero. He opened the description. User has demonstrated the ability to access abilities, characters, equipment, and systems originating from countless video game worlds. Izuku blinked. That's a little dramatic. Aizawa walked toward him. After what happened today, dramatic is probably appropriate. The following weeks changed everything. News channels around the world continuously reported on the battle. Footage showed Izuku standing beside All Might. Another recording showed the gaming vanguard. Another showed All for One trapped inside the strange digital barrier. The public couldn't understand what they were seeing. What exactly is Midoriya's quirk? How many abilities does he have? Are those characters real? Can he summon an entire army? The questions continued. Izuku had no simple answer. At you. The students reacted differently. Mina was fascinated. You can summon game characters. Yes. Can you summon cute ones? Izuku opened the library. Probably. Do it. Not in the classroom. Denki leaned over. Can you summon a final boss? Izuku hesitated. Yes. The entire class became quiet. Denki slowly sat back down. Okay. Never mind. Bakugo clicked his tongue. Show-offs. Izuku looked at him. You literally asked me to use my strongest abilities during training. Shut up. All Might visited Izuku later that afternoon. Young Midoriya. Yes. There is something we need to discuss. Izuku became serious. All Might pointed toward the television. The world has begun calling you the strongest hero alive. Izuku looked uncomfortable. I don't want that title. Why not? Because I don't think strength is what makes someone a hero. All Might smiled. Excellent answer. Izuku looked toward the window. I just want to help people. The Hero Commission soon became interested in his abilities. They wanted to know how many characters he could summon. How many abilities he could use. How much territory he could affect. Izuku demonstrated several abilities under controlled conditions. He created barriers, summoned rescue vehicles, generated medical equipment, created temporary bridges, even reconstructed damaged structures using sandbox construction mechanics. The officials watched in disbelief. One of them finally asked, Midoriya, what is your maximum output? Izuku thought for a moment. I don't know. Can you estimate it? Izuku opened the interface. The number continued scrolling. No. The room became silent. Izuku eventually realized something else. His quirk wasn't simply becoming stronger. It was expanding. Every major battle unlocked new systems. After the U, S, J, he gained advanced summoning. After the sports festival, adaptive combat. After Hosu, stealth synchronization. After Kamino, administrator mode. Now another notification appeared. Global archive synchronization complete. Izuku stared. Global. The interface opened. Access to multiplayer systems unlocked. Cooperative abilities available. World-scale summoning available. Mass support functions available. Izuku's eyes widened. World-scale. He quickly closed the menu. I'm definitely not testing that indoors. Outside you. Several students gathered around him. Ochako smiled. So what happens now? Izuku looked at his interface. I guess I keep training. Tenya nodded. That is the responsible approach. Todoroki looked at him. What happens if another villain like All for One appears? Izuku smiled. Then I'll be ready. Bakugo crossed his arms. Don't get cocky. Izuku laughed. I'm not. That evening, Izuku stood on the rooftop. The city lights stretched into the distance. He opened his character library one final time. There were countless worlds, countless heroes, countless abilities. He could summon warriors from fantasy worlds, soldiers from science fiction universes, mages, racing characters, fighters, strategists, builders, even entire armies. But he didn't need all of them. Not yet. The interface displayed one final message. Multiverse Hero System active. User authorization complete. Available power unrestricted. Izuku stared at the words. Then closed the interface. I'll use only what I need. Behind him, All Might smiled. That is exactly why I believe you'll become an extraordinary hero. Izuku looked toward the city. The world had once considered him powerless. Now he possessed access to countless universes. Yet his goal remained simple. Save people, protect them, and return home safely after every battle. The era of the gaming hero had begun. Several months had passed since the Battle of Kamino. The world had begun to recover. All for One remained imprisoned under heavy security. UA had returned to normal operations. And Izuku had become one of the most watched young heroes in Japan. But something was wrong. Izuku noticed it during a training exercise. His game interface suddenly flickered. System error. Izuku stopped moving. What? The message disappeared. Then another appeared. Unidentified entity detected. Source unknown. Izuku's danger sense activated. He looked toward the distant city. A black wave suddenly spread across the streets. Crack. Buildings began collapsing. Aizawa immediately shouted, "Everyone evacuate." Izuku opened his map. Red markers appeared everywhere. That's not normal. The students rushed toward the city. Izuku moved ahead using a high-speed ability. He landed on a rooftop. The streets below were covered in destruction. Then a figure emerged from the dust. Tamura Shigaraki. But he looked different. His body had been transformed. Strange energy surrounded him. His fingers were covered in glowing cracks. Izuku's interface immediately scanned him. Target identified. Tamura Shigaraki. Status modified. Quirk. Decay. Additional abilities unknown. System interference detected. Izuku's eyes widened. System interference. Shigaraki looked up. You. His voice was calm. The one carrying all those fake worlds. Izuku frowned. They aren't fake. Shigaraki smiled. Then let's destroy them. Shigaraki touched the ground. Decay spread outward. Crack. The pavement disintegrated. Izuku jumped into the air. He activated flight. Another wave followed him. Izuku created a barrier. Crack. The barrier broke. He created another. Crack. That one shattered too. His decay is stronger. Shigaraki jumped. Izuku teleported behind him. A powerful strike sent Shigaraki crashing into a building. Boom. The building shook. Izuku expected him to stop. He didn't. Shigaraki emerged from the rubble. His body regenerated. Izuku stared. Regeneration 2. Shigaraki laughed. You have everything. He raised his hand. So I'll take everything away. Izuku opened the character library. Recommended abilities unavailable. Izuku frowned. What? He tried again. Archive connection unstable. The interface flickered. Some characters disappeared from the list. Izuku's eyes widened. He's interfering with the archive. Shigaraki grinned. Now you understand. He touched the ground again. A massive wave of decay spread across the city. Izuku immediately opened the administrator menu. World editing. Permission denied. What? The administrator menu was locked. Another message appeared. External interference detected. System integrity. 71%. Izuku clenched his fist. He's attacking the system itself. All Might arrived with several pro-heroes. Young Midoriya. Izuku turned. All Might. Shigaraki released another wave. The heroes scattered. Todoroki created a massive wall of ice. Crack. The decay consumed it. Bakugo blasted himself into the air. Boom. He attacked Shigaraki from above. Shigaraki blocked the explosion. Still weak. Bakugo gritted his teeth. Shut up. Izuku moved beside him. Bakugo. Don't get too close. I know. Shigaraki suddenly appeared behind them. Izuku activated Danger Sense. Move. He pushed Bakugo away. Shigaraki's hand struck the ground. Crack. The entire rooftop began collapsing. Izuku grabbed Bakugo. Teleport. Blue light surrounded them. They escaped just before the building collapsed. Izuku landed safely. His interface appeared again. Archive integrity. 54%. It's getting worse. He opened the emergency menu. Only a few abilities remained accessible. Flight. Teleportation. Barriers. Enhanced strength. Basic healing. Izuku stared at the list. He's cutting me off from my own quirk. Shigaraki approached through the ruined street. Exactly. Izuku looked at him. Why? Because your power is a cage. Shigaraki raised his hand. Every world you summon, every ability, every character, I'll erase them all. Izuku opened the remaining character list. There were still thousands of options. But the system warned him. Unstable connection. Excessive summoning may cause permanent archive damage. Izuku hesitated. He could summon an army. But doing so might destroy the quirk itself. Aizawa shouted from behind him. Midoriya. Izuku turned. What? Don't risk your entire quirk. Izuku looked at Shigaraki. Then at his classmates. He closed the summoning menu. Right. He selected one ability. Combat synchronization. His body immediately adapted. His movement became faster. His reflexes sharpened. Shigaraki charged. Izuku met him head-on. Boom. The two collided. Izuku blocked a strike. Shigaraki attacked again. Izuku dodged. Another attack. Parry. Another. Teleport. Izuku struck his chest. Boom. Shigaraki was pushed backward. But he immediately regenerated. You can't win. Izuku breathed heavily. Maybe. His interface flickered. Archive integrity. 41%. Izuku looked at the number. Then smiled. But I don't need everything. He opened the character library. Instead of selecting hundreds of abilities, he chose a single character. A portal opened. A powerful warrior stepped through. Then another. Then another. Izuku limited the summons to only 5. I don't need an army. He looked at Shigaraki. Just enough. The summoned characters moved into position. Shigaraki stared at them. You think 5 can stop me? Izuku raised his hand. No. The interface stabilized. Combat synchronization restored. Izuku stepped forward. I think we can. The battlefield shook again. Shigaraki charged. Izuku and his 5 summoned allies charged toward him. The next battle had begun. The battle had spread across the city. Shigaraki moved through the streets like a living disaster. Every time his fingers touched the ground, decay raced across the pavement. Crack. Buildings collapsed. Heroes were forced to retreat. Izuku watched the destruction from above. His game interface continued flickering. Archive integrity. 38%. Administrator mode. Restricted. Reality editing. Unstable. Izuku clenched his fist. I can't keep fighting him normally. Aizawa looked up. Then what are you planning? Izuku opened the remaining system menu. I'm changing the battlefield. Izuku selected the world settings. Sandbox mode. Activation available. Warning. Large-scale environmental modification. Izuku pressed confirm. The city suddenly changed. A blue grid spread across the streets. Buildings were outlined by glowing squares. Roads became organized paths. Damaged structures were marked with health bars. Even the heroes received small icons above their heads. Everyone stopped. Denki stared at his own icon. What the heck is that? Izuku answered while manipulating the interface. It's a support system. Allied entities detected. Hero status synchronization complete. Cooperative mode activated. New icons appeared above every hero. Health, stamina, defense, position. Izuku could now monitor everyone simultaneously. This should make coordination easier. Tenya looked at his interface. This is remarkably efficient. Bakugo stared at the glowing symbols. Why do I have a health bar? Izuku glanced at him. Because you're on my team. I don't need a damn health bar. Shigaraki looked around. His expression darkened. What did you do? Izuku stepped forward. I turned the battlefield into a controlled environment. Shigaraki touched the ground. Decay spread. But this time, the glowing grid stopped it. Hostile environmental effect detected. Sandbox protection activated. The decay stopped at the edge of a glowing boundary. Shigaraki stared. No. Izuku looked at the interface. Your decay still works. He pointed toward the boundary. But I've limited how far it can spread. Shigaraki slammed his hand down again. Crack. Another wave appeared. The system redirected it into an empty section of the city. Civilian zone protected. Izuku nodded. Perfect. The heroes suddenly received new notifications. Temporary buff available. Select 1. Speed increase. Defense increase. Strength increase. Recovery increase. Izuku opened the team menu. Everyone choose what you need. Todoroki selected defense. Tenya selected speed. Bakugo selected strength. Ochako selected recovery. All Might looked at his menu. Young Midoriya, can you really provide these enhancements to everyone? Yes. All Might smiled. Then let's put them to good use. The battle resumed. Tenya accelerated. Whoosh. He crossed several streets in seconds. Bakugo followed. Boom. His explosion struck one of Shigaraki's arms. Todoroki created an enormous wall of ice. Shigaraki's decay spread across it. Crack. The ice collapsed. But the sandbox system immediately redirected the remaining decay away from civilians. Ochako floated several pieces of debris. I've got these. She released them toward an empty zone. Izuku monitored the entire battlefield. Good. Shigaraki became increasingly frustrated. He tried to reach the heroes. Every time he moved toward them, Izuku adjusted the environment. Walls appeared. Roads changed. Barriers formed. Bridges extended. The battlefield itself seemed to obey Izuku. Stop controlling everything. Shigaraki screamed. Izuku shook his head. I'm controlling enough to keep everyone alive. Shigaraki charged directly toward him. Izuku opened the combat menu. Enemy approaching. Recommended response. Mobility. Izuku activated a dash ability. He vanished. Shigaraki's hand struck empty air. Izuku reappeared behind him. Boom. A powerful kick sent Shigaraki across the street. Then Shigaraki's body changed. The energy surrounding him intensified. His fingers extended. His muscles expanded. His eyes glowed. Izuku's interface immediately flashed red. Enemy evolution detected. Threat level increased. Raid boss status approaching. Izuku stared. Raid boss. Shigaraki smiled. You wanted a game. He touched the ground. Then I'll become the final boss. Crack. Decay exploded outward. The sandbox grid began breaking apart. Sandbox integrity. 76%. 64%. 51%. Izuku's expression hardened. He's overpowering the system. Aizawa looked at him. Can you stop it? Izuku opened the administrator menu. Most options were still locked. But one remained. Boss Arena. Izuku selected it. The entire battlefield transformed. The city disappeared behind a massive glowing boundary. A circular arena formed around Shigaraki. The remaining heroes appeared outside the central zone. Boss Arena activated. Civilian damage disabled. Environmental destruction contained. Allied respawn enabled. Izuku stared at the final line. Respawn enabled. Aizawa immediately understood. You can bring people back if they're defeated. Inside the arena. Then use it. Izuku nodded. Everyone. He raised his hand. This is our arena now. Shigaraki laughed. You think changing the battlefield will save you? Izuku stepped into the arena. No. His interface opened. Player status. Izuku Midoriya. Class. Gamer hero. Level. Unknown. Abilities. Unlimited. Respawn. Active. Party. Class 1A. Izuku looked at his classmates. We fight together. Bakugo cracked his knuckles. Finally. Todoroki activated his fire. Tenya lowered his stance. Ochako floated several pieces of debris. All Might raised his fist. Then let us end this. Shigaraki charged. Boom. The entire arena shook. Izuku's interface flashed. Boss battle initiated. Phase 1. Izuku smiled. Let's play. The boss arena shook as Shigaraki charged forward. Boom. Izuku jumped aside just before Shigaraki's hand struck the ground. Crack. The floor split apart. Boss Phase 1. Target. Tamura Shigaraki. Recommended class. Berserker. Izuku selected it. His interface changed instantly. Class equipped. Berserker. His strength increased. His body became surrounded by a faint red glow. Shigaraki attacked again. Izuku blocked the strike. Crash. The impact pushed him several meters backward. Strong. Shigaraki grinned. You're finally using your real power. Izuku dashed forward. Boom. His fist struck Shigaraki's chest. The villain flew backward and crashed into the arena wall. But he immediately stood. Again. Shigaraki charged. Izuku switched classes. Class equipped. Mage. A staff appeared in his hand. He raised it. Fire. A massive flame burst forward. Whoosh. Shigaraki crossed his arms. The flames engulfed him. For several seconds, nothing could be seen. Then he walked through the fire. Not enough. Izuku switched abilities. Ice magic. An enormous glacier formed beneath Shigaraki. Crack. Ice surrounded his legs. Todoroki stared. He's using my style of fighting. Izuku smiled. It's from a game. Todoroki nodded. Of course. Shigaraki broke free. Boom. The ice shattered. Shigaraki's body suddenly changed again. Boss Phase 2. Mutation detected. Attack power increased. Decay radius increased. Izuku's interface flashed red. Everyone move. Shigaraki touched the ground. Crack. Decay spread across the entire arena. The heroes jumped onto elevated platforms. Izuku opened the environment menu. Terrain modification. He created several floating platforms. Stay above the ground. Tenya accelerated between them. Bakugo blasted himself into the air. Boom. Todoroki created ice ramps. Ochako floated several platforms to create additional escape routes. The entire class moved as one unit. Shigaraki looked upward. Annoying. He jumped. Izuku's danger sense activated. Bakugo. Got it. Bakugo intercepted Shigaraki. Boom. The explosion knocked him away. Todoroki followed with fire. Whoosh. Shigaraki blocked it. Tenya struck from the side. Crash. Shigaraki was forced backward. Izuku appeared above him. Now, Izuku switched classes again. Class equipped. Mecha pilot. A massive mechanical frame appeared around him. The cockpit closed. The machine's engines activated. Whoom. Bakugo stared. You're kidding. Izuku launched forward. Boom. The mecha slammed into Shigaraki. The two crashed through several artificial structures. Shigaraki grabbed the machine. This won't stop me. Izuku opened the weapon menu. Missile system. Energy cannon. Defensive shield. He selected all three. Try this. Dozens of projectiles launched. Boom. 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 The arena filled with explosions. Shigaraki disappeared inside the smoke. Izuku landed. The mecha vanished. Class changed. Class equipped. Warrior. Izuku summoned a sword. The smoke cleared. Shigaraki was still standing. Blood ran down his face. But he was smiling. Finally, Shigaraki rushed forward. Izuku met him. Clang. Their attacks collided. Shigaraki attacked again. Izuku parried. Clang. Another strike. Parry. Clang. Another. Izuku dodged. The two exchanged attacks at incredible speed. Izuku's combat interface tracked every movement. Attack pattern analyzed. Counter available. Izuku waited. Shigaraki raised his hand. Danger sense activated. Izuku moved before the attack landed. He spun around and struck Shigaraki's arm. Crack. Shigaraki staggered. Izuku followed with a powerful kick. Boom. Shigaraki crashed into the ground. Boss health. 42%. Izuku looked at the display. We're halfway there. Shigaraki slowly stood. His expression had changed. He looked furious. I'll erase everything. His fingers touched the ground. The entire arena turned black. System warning. Boss Phase 3. Catastrophic attack detected. Izuku's eyes widened. Everyone. A massive wave of decay erupted. Crack. The arena began collapsing. The heroes disappeared beneath the expanding destruction. Izuku opened the party menu. Allied casualties detected. Respawn available. Activate. Golden lights appeared. The defeated heroes returned to their previous positions. Bakugo looked around. What the hell just happened? Respawn. Don't ever do that without warning. Noted. Shigaraki stared at them. They came back. Izuku stepped forward. Yes. Then I'll destroy them again. Izuku opened his interface. Boss countermeasure available. Party ultimate. Izuku selected it. Every hero received a glowing symbol. All Might looked at his hands. Young Midoriya. Everyone attacked together. Bakugo grinned. Now you're talking. Todoroki prepared his fire and ice. Tenya lowered his stance. Ochako raised her hands. All Might clenched his fist. The entire party charged. Shigaraki roared. Come. Boom. The heroes struck simultaneously. Bakugo's explosion hit first. Todoroki followed with ice and fire. Tenya smashed into Shigaraki from the side. Ochako removed the gravity around him. All Might delivered a powerful punch. Izuku switched classes one final time. Class equipped. Ultimate hero. His entire game library opened behind him. Thousands of abilities appeared. Izuku selected only a few. Speed. Strength. Magic. Regeneration. Time manipulation. Reality control. His eyes glowed. This ends now. He raised his hand. The entire arena froze. Time stopped. Shigaraki couldn't move. Izuku walked toward him. Boss health. 7%. Izuku looked at the frozen villain. One more. He released time. Everything moved again. Izuku struck. Boom. The attack sent Shigaraki across the arena. His health bar dropped. 3%. 1%. 0%. The arena became silent. Then a message appeared. Boss defeated. Izuku lowered his hand. But before anyone could celebrate, another message appeared. Warning. Final phase detected. Izuku's eyes widened. What? The defeated Shigaraki slowly raised his head. A dark glow appeared around him. Hidden phase unlocked. Boss fight continues. Izuku stared at the screen. You're kidding. Shigaraki smiled. Now the real fight begins. The arena had fallen silent. Izuku stared at the floating message above Shigaraki. Hidden phase unlocked. Boss status. Destroyer. Threat level. Catastrophic. Shigaraki slowly stood. Dark energy covered his body. You thought defeating me would be enough. Izuku tightened his grip. Apparently not. Shigaraki touched the ground. Crack. A wave of decay exploded across the arena. This time, it moved faster. The platforms disappeared. The barriers collapsed. Even the sandbox system began failing. Arena integrity. 42%. 31%. 18%. Aizawa shouted. Midoriya. Izuku opened the system menu. I see it. World destruction detected. Save state recommended. Izuku stared at the option. Save state. He selected it. Creating save state. The entire battlefield flashed blue. Save complete. Izuku exhaled. Now we have a backup. Bakugo stared at him. What the hell does that mean? If something goes wrong, I can restore everything. Then do it already. Izuku shook his head. Not yet. Shigaraki attacked again. Boom. A massive wave of decay swept through the arena. Todoroki created an enormous wall of ice. Crack. It disappeared immediately. It's too powerful. Tenya grabbed Todoroki and accelerated away. Ochako floated several heroes out of danger. All Might remained behind. Young Midoriya. Izuku turned. All Might was struggling to hold back the advancing wave. Restore the battlefield. Izuku hesitated. If he restored everything now, Shigaraki would also return to the saved state. He needed another solution. I'll handle it. Izuku opened the system. World restoration. Partial restoration available. His eyes widened. Partial. He selected it. Restore structures. The destroyed buildings began rebuilding. Restore terrain. The broken ground returned. Restore allied health. The hero's injuries disappeared. But Shigaraki remained unchanged. Izuku smiled. That's it. Shigaraki noticed. What are you doing? Izuku raised his hand. Fixing everything you broke. Shigaraki charged. Izuku activated time manipulation. Everything stopped. He moved through the frozen battlefield. One by one, he restored the damaged sections. Roads. Buildings. Barriers. Rescue routes. Even the fallen support equipment. Then he reached the center. He looked at Shigaraki. You're the only thing I won't restore. Time resumed. Shigaraki attacked. Izuku teleported away. Boom. The attack hit empty ground. Shigaraki's rage increased. Stop running. Izuku shook his head. I'm not running. He opened another menu. Status effects. Decay immunity. He activated it for his party. Allied protection applied. Then he selected another option. Environmental protection. The arena stopped collapsing. Shigaraki stared. No. Izuku smiled. Your decay can't destroy the arena anymore. Shigaraki touched the ground repeatedly. Crack. Nothing happened. He attacked a building. Crack. The structure immediately regenerated. He destroyed another. Crack. It returned. Shigaraki's expression became furious. What did you do? I gave the world a checkpoint. The heroes counterattacked. Bakugo blasted forward. Boom. Todoroki followed with a combination of ice and fire. Whoosh. Tenya struck from the side. All Might delivered another powerful punch. Shigaraki blocked them, but his movements were slowing. Boss health. 64%. Izuku opened the party interface. Team synchronization. Active. Everyone, keep attacking. The heroes moved together. Shigaraki was surrounded. He tried using decay. Nothing happened. He tried breaking through the barriers. They regenerated. He tried attacking Izuku. Danger sense warned him before every strike. For the first time, Shigaraki was being pushed backward. Then Shigaraki raised both hands. If I can't destroy this world. Dark energy gathered around him. I'll destroy everything outside it. Izuku's interface flashed red. External reality breach detected. Izuku froze. He's trying to escape the arena. Aizawa looked at him. Can he? If he gets outside, I don't know. Shigaraki slammed both hands into the ground. Boom. The arena boundary cracked. Sandbox integrity. 9%. Izuku immediately opened the save menu. Emergency restoration available. Restore previous state. Izuku looked at his classmates. Then at the ruined battlefield. Everyone, hold on. He selected the option. Restoring save state. The world flashed white. Everything returned. The broken arena was restored. The destroyed buildings returned. The heroes were standing exactly where they had been when the save was created. Even Shigaraki returned to his previous position. But Izuku remained where he was. He had used the save state without resetting himself. Bakugo looked around. Did we just go backward? Izuku nodded. Yes. Todoroki looked at Shigaraki. He's back too. I know. Izuku opened the interface. Save state preserved. Restore complete. New function unlocked. Selective loading. Izuku's eyes widened. Selective loading. He selected Shigaraki. Target selected. Restore target to previous state. Izuku pressed confirm. Shigaraki's enhanced transformation disappeared. His power returned to the state recorded earlier. Shigaraki stared at his hands. What did you do? Izuku stepped forward. I loaded an earlier version of you. Shigaraki attacked desperately. Izuku raised his hand. Decay effect. Nullified. The attack stopped. Regeneration. Restricted. Shigaraki's wounds remained. Movement. Reduced. His body slowed. Boss phase. Terminated. The dark energy disappeared. Shigaraki dropped to one knee. Izuku approached. It's over. Shigaraki looked up. You cheated. Izuku smiled slightly. It's my quirk. He closed the interface. And you were fighting on my map. The boss arena disappeared. The city returned to normal. The heroes stood among streets that had been completely restored. People began emerging from shelters. Sirens filled the distance. All Might looked around in disbelief. Young Midoriya. Izuku looked at him. Yes. You restored everything. Izuku glanced at the buildings. Almost everything. He looked at the interface. World restoration. Complete. Casualties. Minimized. Allied party. Alive. Boss. Defeated. Then another message appeared. Final event unlocked. Game over for evil. Press start for peace. Izuku stared at it. Final event. Bakugo groaned. Seriously? There's still another one. Izuku laughed. Looks like it. The interface displayed one final objective. Protect the world. Permanent peace protocol available. Izuku looked toward the recovering city. Then he selected it. The city was finally quiet. The destroyed streets had been restored. The injured heroes had been treated. Shigaraki was unconscious inside a reinforced containment facility, unable to use the power that had nearly destroyed the city. Izuku stood on a rooftop with his game interface floating before his eyes. Final event completed. World restoration. Complete. Civilian casualties. Minimized. Major threats. Contained. Permanent peace protocol available. Izuku stared at the final option. Permanent peace protocol. All Might stood beside him. What does it do? Izuku opened the description. Creates a global emergency support system. Automatically detects disasters, villain attacks, natural catastrophes, and large-scale threats. Deploys appropriate abilities and support units. User authorization required. Izuku looked at the city below. It would let me respond before things become this bad. All Might nodded. Then perhaps you should activate it. Izuku pressed confirm. Authorization accepted. Permanent Guardian system activated. The interface disappeared. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then a soft chime sounded. Welcome, player. Izuku smiled. Player. He shook his head. I guess that's fine. The next morning, the world learned what had happened. News stations showed footage of the restored city. Citizens watched the strange battle from the previous day. They saw All Might. They saw Class 1A. And they saw Izuku. The boy who had once been considered powerless was now being called the gaming hero. Some people feared his abilities. Others admired him. Many simply couldn't understand him. One reporter asked, Midoriya, how many powers do you actually possess? Izuku thought about it. I don't know. How many characters can you summon? I don't know that either. What is the strongest ability you have? Izuku smiled awkwardly. Probably something I haven't discovered yet. The reporter stared. You don't know. No. The interview ended shortly afterward. At U.A. Life slowly returned to normal. Class 1A gathered in the classroom. Mina leaned over Izuku's desk. So, can you summon characters during lunch? Yes. Do it. Why? I want to see what happens. Denki joined her. Same. Izuku sighed. Fine. He opened his interface. A tiny portal appeared. A small game character stepped through. The entire class stared. Then Mina smiled. Cute. Bakugo groaned. You idiots are treating this like a toy. Izuku closed the portal. It's still useful for training. Todoroki nodded. And rescue operations. Tenya adjusted his glasses. And disaster response. Ochako smiled. And helping people. Izuku smiled. Exactly. All Might later met Izuku privately. Young Midoriya. Yes. You have achieved something remarkable. Izuku looked confused. Defeating Shigaraki. More than that. All Might pointed toward the city. You had enough power to control everything. Izuku remained silent. Yet you chose to protect people instead of ruling them. Izuku smiled. Because I'm a hero. All Might laughed. That's right. Months passed. The permanent guardian system proved useful. When a building collapsed, rescue units appeared. When a natural disaster struck, support abilities were deployed. When villains attacked, heroes received tactical information. When a large-scale emergency occurred, Izuku could summon specialized teams. He rarely needed to fight anymore. His quirk handled the support. The heroes handled the rest. The world slowly became safer. Not perfect, but safer. One evening, Izuku stood on the U.A. rooftop. His interface appeared one final time. Global threat level. Low. Emergency events. None. Active quests. None. Save state. Stable. World status. Peaceful. Izuku stared at the final line. Peaceful. He smiled. For years, he had dreamed about becoming a hero. Now he could finally live like one. Not because he had infinite powers. Not because he could summon armies. Not because he could rewrite reality. But because every time the system gave him the option to use overwhelming power, he chose carefully. A small notification appeared. New Game Plus available. Izuku blinked. New Game Plus. He opened the menu. Countless worlds appeared. Fantasy. Science fiction. Racing. Strategy. Adventure. Horror. Role-playing. Fighting. Simulation. The possibilities were endless. Izuku laughed quietly. Maybe later. He closed the interface. Below him, the lights of the city continued shining. His friends were waiting inside. Another day of school was about to begin. Izuku turned toward the building. Then stopped. A small smile appeared on his face. Press start. He walked back inside. The ultimate gaming hero had no final level. There would always be another challenge. Another world. Another adventure. And whenever the world needed him, Izuku Midoriya would be ready. Game over for evil. Press start for peace. The screen faded, and the next adventure began.
Alright, now that we've gone through the entire story, let's move on to the key educational lessons and takeaways hidden within it. True power lies in creativity, adaptability, and protection. Deku's journey with the ultimate video game Quirk proves that overwhelming power is useless without wisdom, strategy, and a heart dedicated to protecting others. Instead of letting unlimited power consume him, Deku uses his creativity and versatility to uplift his allies, restore hope, and build a safer world for everyone. Maybe that's all for today's video. Like if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment if you have any title suggestions for the next video. Alright, that's it, and see you in the next video.